What is going on, ladies and gentlemen to the tribe? How are we all doing? Excuse me, sorry, I was busy getting stuff set up just a little bit there with that intro. We are back with Tribe Talks, ladies and gentlemen. Tribe Talks. We're going to be talking a little bit with our boy Carthrick. I'm going to ring him. How dare you, OneDrive, pop up like that? In just a moment. Let's go ahead and get on the old bell to Carthrick over here. Pop that out. Doot. Oh good, it's done that thing where it messes up my camera. Let's figure that out.
One should.
Hey buddy, how you doing?
Oh, well enough.
Good. Good, I'm glad. I am glad. Hey Battlefries, how you doing today, buddy? Oh, dear me, dear me. I think my camera is trying to turn on. That's why that's doing silly stuff. We don't need my camera to be turning on there. I have my camera on the stream for wonderful people at home. Talking about tribes, we will be king of losing, absolutely. Hey Battlefries, as the traditional greeting goes, hello there. Hello there. How you doing, Battlefries? Kemi, how you? Kent, how you? Victor, you all good? So yes, no Wolfie today, ladies and gentlemen. Wolfie is off at something called Battalion Con, which is I think it's the battalion's annual meetup. Did he say it was an annual meetup, or is it like a quarterly meetup? I'm not sure.
I think it's annual.
Annual.
I honestly have no idea, though.
Yeah, me neither. I don't have the foggiest. But it sounds like you've been having a good time, and that matters. That matters. Yeah, I fixed it, Kimmy. It was because I'm on a Discord call, and it tried to have two instances of my camera running, and then it just got a little bit screwy. Oh, dear me. Dear me. You hope Shin Hottie's on the menu today? Shin Hottie is always on the menu. At least I think so. What else is also on the menu is we've got sign up for TW, Karth. Are you signing up to this one?
I should be.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll sign up for the one on the weekend.
You like your weekends to chill, though.
I mean, I just the place I'm at right now, where it comes from, is that I just don't care enough to have the weekend like stress of a TW, and so I'm just gonna go hang out and do what I want and pretend the game doesn't exist on the weekend. And
I think that's a fair shout. I think that's a fair shout, buddy.
Fortunately, I did a little too much of that this weekend.
What, stressing?
No. Pretending the game doesn't exist.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
The officers probably weren't really happy with me. I think they had to chase me down every single phase.
Oh, for TB.
From Thursday, or from phase 4 end until the end of the phase.
And it was
I literally
on both accounts, I take it.
Yeah. I literally woke up this morning with 15 minutes before TB ended. And I logged in and deployed, and that was
yeah. And I think we only hit 39 stars, and we were supposed to hit
40.
40.
Weren't gonna change that anyways. Well, they thought we had more platoons in place for Vandor, I want to say.
Yeah.
So we were missing a lot, and so, but I mean, it'll be fine. I think next time we will ignore the Ring of Kafrine and we'll go get the 3 stars on Haven.
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't know exactly why we didn't the first time, but that's fine. I'm not planning it, so I don't care.
Yep, indeed.
Like the difference between the 1 star is so it's 25 crystals. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. No, it's negligible rewards. As much as it kind of sucks. I mean, we could talk about this properly. Should we? Yeah, hang on. Let me see if I've got this fixed correctly. If I go over here, is it going to pick you up? It is not at the moment, so let's make sure which one is it. Should be this one over here. That drop shadow is fine.
Oh,
2 over here should be grabbing you, but it's not, baby. It'll be this one. Booyah! And then we just get a rather wonderful Karth over here. God damn, what is going on with this? We need to smallenize this entirely. It's not built for this. There we go. Wait, smallenize this. We can cut in some of it. Cut in all of this. Bring that all the way down. And then from here, we can enlarge and embolden. 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 And then make bigger. Oh, look. How wonderful. It's your face. And now if I go over here to this one. Now your face should be here. Oh my god, it's a Carthric! Wow. That was painful. That was painful.
I'm gonna believe you.
I'm gonna, yeah. So I guess, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. This is our occasionally weekly Star Wars podcast that we like to call the Tribe Talks, where we talk nothing but Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. All other topics are completely off limits and out of bounds. We will give you knowledge that you cannot gain anywhere else. You will be a better SWGoH from listening to this or you might come out none the wiser, I'll be honest. It is what it is.
It's a real hit run option some days.
It's all of one and none of the other. It's a real mystery. It's like a box of chocolates. You know what I mean? You know, we come out and you'll feel 100% Forrest Gump. So normally it is a trio podcast. Normally we have myself, Carthric, and Wolfie, but Wolfie is away on Battalion not Cron. Battalion Cron. Could you imagine if they got a Battalion Cron out? If they do, I want a Tribe Cron meet up. So he's away, and Carthric was away last weekend. So we've had back-to-back duo podcasts, and that's okay. How you doing, Carth? You okay, buddy?
Yeah, doing great. Just living life on easy mode at the moment.
Yeah, we were talking about easy mode. So, seeing as though, we have got stuff to talk about, but it seems that we were on the subject of TB rewards and effort and managing burnout and all that sort of bollocks. Our guild has recently taken not a 180, because I wouldn't say we were like any sort of hardcore guild pushing super, super high and super, super engaged in getting high stars. We were good, don't get me wrong, but we were good because we have the GP to be good. We're like the 7th largest guild in the game. So I think we did hit, was 43 our best? Or was
43 was our highest.
Yeah.
For about 2 or 3 TBs, and then we started having some roster changes.
Yeah. Essentially, people wanted to move on, and I don't know why. Like there was a couple of people that wanted to move on because of retirement. Few people moved to other, highly successful guilds, and I'm not sure if that had anything to do with TB or if it was just more the TW side of things or anything like that.
I think the majority of the people who left, it was all TW related.
Right. So yeah.
But
anyway, like this last TB, we've had a couple of people move guilds, a couple of people retire, etc., and we've decided to take a more laissez-faire approach to the TB instead of trying to push a bunch of people to start relicking up Relic 9 characters that are pretty trashy for for operations, essentially, or platoons, however you want to call them, because the return on investment for TB is, well, quite frankly, it's shit. I don't know another way to put it. It's just not, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. So this last time we got a whopping 39 stars down from 43. I mean, it's not like it jumped from that to that. We slowly declined. But we're just taking a go ahead, do the SMs that you can, fill the operations, and more or less just deploy for the most part of the entire TB. And it's been quite relaxing. Well, at least for me. I don't know how you feel about it, Garth. What's your input on this, buddy?
Oh, it's been fine. It's the only thing that's kind of is the stretch is that we are at a point right now where there's not a ton of wiggle room to deviate from the farms. And so it's like the swap is all based on the fact of like, hey, we will do more of the story missions, and we'll focus on those, and then we'll just let everything else slide, which has been fine. But like, nobody wants to go and invest in those characters right now because you've got Balin in the next 6 weeks, you've got Glatt in the next probably 10 weeks.
Yep.
You know, and so it's like you got a lot of relic investment on the horizon, and nobody really wants to put that much work into
and
the other options.
And the other side of it as well is it like you can be investing in all the new stuff, and they do very well in the new TV for the most part. You know, Gungans can do really well so long as you take them in on the right combat missions. Imperial Remnant do very well. The Night Sisters do phenomenally with Great Mothers, but people are not getting these new well, I say people who are not Karth are not getting these new marquees and taking them to Relic 9. They're taking them to Relic 7, which doesn't really help you progress anywhere in TB. Sure, it means it makes you more comfortable in platooning some of like your Galactic Legend units, because you're like, oh well, I know I can use brand new marquee teams to beat these combat missions. I'm not worried about platooning my GLs. But nobody's taking these new ones to like high-end relics, like your Relic 9s. Occasionally you might do Relic 8s. So it doesn't really help you progress any further outside of just raw GP to deploy. And that's not really going to get you stars in the... Well, not in the short term, anyway. It might in the very, very long term. So it's a bit of a weird place to be until we can all just start willy-nilly throwing R9s at everything, which I don't think we're there yet. I don't
either.
No. And I feel it. It's like, you know, I would like to invest in some of the special mission teams. Because, I mean, I've got some of them. You know, I've got the Rebel Fighters. I've got them sorted. I've got, like, the Great Mothers destroy the Dathomir special mission. It was...
Yeah, well, the fact that they can't be... Well, it's because they can't revive from the doomed defeat. Yeah. So it makes it infinitely better to deal with them because of it. And so it's like that mission gets so much easier when you're like, well, I'm just going to doom you and then win. And you're like, oh, sweet.
And it's a very tanky team. Although I did get caught off guard. I didn't realize in the second wave that apparently Dash is not normal Dash. Dash is like Dash
steroid
on
Dash,
steroids. He just does an AoE and you're like, oh my god, you one-shot my Spirit. But, you know, just because Spirit isn't a particularly tanky unit in general. But I still, like, I cleaned up easily, didn't lose another unit after that. It was really comfortable. And I think if I just start Wave 2 and Doom Dash, I think I'd just win anyway. Like, without losing anybody. But
yeah, no, it's Dash is like kind of like the low-key high priority target just because of his damage. Maul actually deals almost significantly less damage than Dash does.
Yeah.
But Dash does it to the whole team, and that's the big rub there, is like everyone's going to eat it in the shorts because of that versus anything else. So
yeah, I've got the Night Sisters. I think I'm missing people like Kira for phase 1. I just don't really want to R5 my Kira. And what else is there? I've got clones for Zepho. I've obviously got all the Gen like Cal Kestis, and I've got Bo Mando. I'm wondering what special missions I might be missing. The Wookiees isn't a special mission, is it? It's a combat mission.
The Wookiee doesn't. No, yeah. It's going to be the only real big one is going to be the Scoundrels and the Inquisitors, because they're required at Relic 8 on Haven, and that's kind of rough for a lot of people to take them. I mean, like Reva, a lot of people have investment in. GI is fine, but the other ones are kind of like there's not a significant change between the two, so it's like, do I really want to do this? And the answer is usually no. The other ones that people tend to be off put by are the smuggler ones. So you need to have Kira and L3 at R8 for the Vandor mission, and you need Kira and Han Solo, young Han Solo at Relic 5 for the Corellia mission. And then the other ones, of course, are just standard. You know, need to have Bo Katan at R7 for Tatooine, and you got to have Cal and Seer at R7 on Braca.
Yeah, those ones are fine. Yeah,
are required to unlock the planets, so you kind of are getting a lot more investment out of it.
For me, I think the only ones that seem even vaguely appealing is, I would do the Kira one just because I already have a young Han at Relic 7 from a long-ass time ago. So I could do that to Relic 5, and that's low-hanging fruit, right? And the only other one I would really even think about fucking with is the Inquisitors, because they're all R7 apart from Reaver, who's R9 anyway.
Yeah.
I don't really want a full R8 Inquisitor team, but it's not like it's a bad team. I'd rather have that than Smugglers at R8.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's what I was saying in our guild chat earlier, is that the for the majority of it is Get 2 is the more valuable currency than Get 3, in my opinion, because you can purchase a lot more with the Get 3 currency. You can get your Gear 12 plus pieces. You can get your Cairo.
I think in particular for people in our position it is. I think there's a lot of characters that you can get for Get 3 that are useful for younger accounts. But typically people in our guild don't need the character shards or anything like that.
But that's the other side of the coin, though, is like the Get 3 is only available on the Kira mission, or both Kira missions and the Inquisitor. Everything else is Get 2. So it's like very few guilds are going to be getting to the R8 planets anyways that are in need of those other Get characters that are available for Get 3, like Cam and Malik and Gas and stuff like that, or whatever, which ones are there. But that's kind of the rub with that, is like you're not going to really be pushing that far. Like the Relic 5 and Relic Kira and young Han Solo. Sure, maybe the extra Get 3 might help with getting a couple extra shards, a TB if the entire guild.
Hey, just seen Wolfie. Wolfie subscribed in the chat. He's off enjoying Battalion Con right now. Hey, Wolfie. Sorry to interrupt you there, Karth. Hope you're having a good time, buddy.
I think he's traveling back right now.
He's traveling back. That's why he can't make it today. I hope you had a good time, buddy. Sorry, you were saying.
But yeah, it's just Get 3 it has value to it, but I think the smaller guilds, there's just so little on the story missions they can access. Where it's like the R7 stuff is a little bit more prevalent, and there's a lot of R7 stuff out now that kind of helps you, like they're already part of requirements. So like Luthen and Captain Rex and Drogon are all requirements at R7. So you just need to bring up Saw +1,
which is basically what I did.
Kyle Katarn is already a Relic 5 requirement, so it's like you can kind of get the team together for the story mission on Kashyyyk or the special mission on Kashyyyk without.
To be honest, my Kyle Katarn is still Relic 5, but even though I have a full R7 team that I can run with Luthen and Saw for that mission, it's tempting to take Kyle Katarn to R7 just because he does some real solid damage in that Luthen team, especially with the support Kron. I don't mind throwing a couple of relics on him. I wouldn't mind that so much. It's just 2 relic levels. I could do that. Not right now.
That's the giant rub right now. Is like that's what I said in our guild chat, was like with Balin coming, you've got 2 more R7s that if you haven't 7-star Shin already that you need to do. So you got Shin and you got Merrick to do, and then you got Balin to do. That says 3 characters that you're going to bring up to probably R7 minimum no matter what. And then we're going to double down on this again, and we still need the other 3 remaining characters plus Galactic Legend Ahsoka and Ezra for her squad. So like that's a lot of investment in the next like 12 weeks. And I don't see, if you don't it would make absolutely no sense to start spending R8 materials on Inquisitors when you've got that much in the bank, where those teams are going to because Balin and or Ahsoka are basically confirmed to be the tanks for their squads.
Well, Ahsoka is 100% confirmed. They've said she's a tank. So
I think they did for Balin too.
Oh, did they? Oh, I can't remember.
I would have to. I think in the mercenary tag release where they talked about Shin and Merrick, they talked about Balin being the tank for the team, which 100% makes sense. Like they wanted to make him an offensive tank essentially. So like basically
when you look at this show and you look at you look at how he fights and his build and stature, I look at that and it just screams like Malgus / Malak, just big beefy bruiser tank, can take a hit but also deals out really good damage. That's the aura I get off him. So him being a tank makes sense. GL Ahsoka being a tank, I'm not so sure.
Honest to God, though, I think the reason partly and why is the same reason they made Rolo a tank, is because it's going to play off of the stats that come with the tank.
Yeah, it's because CG has probably looked at all the stats and they're like, people are more predisposed to R9ing all their tanks. Let's just make that more appealing. Everybody R9 your GLs and your new epic confrontations.
Honestly, though, I think a lot of it comes from like it's just the stats that you gain, and so odds are Ahsoka's going to have something that's likely based off of her max health.
Mm-hmm.
And so being a tank in relics means that she gets a 20,000 jump, or no, it's like 10,000 I think for health, and then it's like 20,000 for protection.
Yeah, the protection goes crazy.
I think overall it's just to make the characters it's just for the stats pencils. It's not really about what they are. But I would assume that she's going to end up tanking a lot of the hits anyways. So she might have a reflective part of her kit, or she takes X amount of damage, like Leia does. Leia, she takes X amount of damage, and then on her turn, they recover a certain amount.
Yeah, I actually think there's going to be an element of it that they're going to bake in the whole world between world things, and she's going to have a clause in her kit around her reviving herself with that. So it's almost like they want her to tank because you actually want her to be defeated once.
Yeah.
And then she revives, and maybe on that revive, she's got like a boatload additional mastery or additional stats or something like that. Or they could also do like Lord Vader's ultimate, where the ultimate gets charged as they get hit. That sort of thing.
Could be.
So yeah, I'll be interested to see how that plays out. That's gonna be kind of cool. But yeah, it's there's a lot on people's plates right now. There is a lot coming out in the next 2 to 3 months. I can't see people having that breathing room unless you're just going to start whaling pretty heavy.
Well, and it's big
relics
things
around.
That's the issue with it. It's big things releasing in the next. It's like things you don't really want to skip on. Now I know the arguments for the other side of the coin. A Galactic Legend, they don't want to skip on because odds are we're either going to get some sort of event for GL Ahsoka, or she's going to be tied into a raid or something. So it doesn't make sense to really skip on her. Baylan is the enigma, because it's like, unless he gets an assault battle or he's ungodly in GAC, like it's hard to argue the investment at that junction. And I understand that one. It's like you're going to get way more out of the R9 Padawan Obi-Wan and Master Qui-Gon than you are going to be investing into unlocking Baylan day one.
I genuinely think when it comes to Baylan, he's going to be more along the lines of Bo-Katan Mandalore. When it first comes out with his Datacron, he's going to be freaking nuts. He's going to be so goddamn strong. When the Datacron dies off, I think he's going to equal out a little bit and still be a good and useful character to have in your roster, but not that mandatory. But I can also see them releasing additional mercenaries down the line that's going to constantly bump up that Baylan team over time, because we've only got 3 characters for this team at release date. Obviously there's a bunch new mercenaries that have come to the game, but I have a feeling it's going to be a slow drip release, probably leading into GL Thrawn's requirements next year. I bet there's going to be 2 mercenaries in that requirement that just drop very nicely into Baylan's squad.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that, mercenary tags for Thrawn. But honestly, I think all of the marquees for Thrawn are going to be the characters that they are going to use in Ahsoka, her team, and then it's just going to be rinse and repeat. I think if they really want to just double down on the absurdity, is require Ezra for GL or for GL Thrawn and require Baylan for GL Thrawn, and then
that would suck, wouldn't it?
The next conquest unit GL Thrawn's lifter, and then release GL Thrawn in 12 weeks. Like I know that sounds absurd, but in my head there is very little content that they can drum up after they release all this stuff for Ahsoka that they could tie into Thrawn. So either they just full on skip Thrawn.
No, I still think it's going to be Enoch and Death Trooper Peridia.
I know. I 100% agree, because why does if they weren't going to add on to the team, why does Enoch have the TB?
Exactly. So Thrawn will lead that trio of characters, and then like you said, maybe we get a conquest unit that is the lifter for Thrawn, and that's the 5th. Maybe that's Pelion, or maybe it's Rook or something. I don't know. Who knows?
I really hope that Thrawn summons Rook, and then Pelion
that'd be kind of cool.
is his conquest unit. But I mean, but whether that goes one way or the other, the Thrawn's, if they're going to go to Thrawn, they're going to have to do it very quickly on the back of Ahsoka.
Oh, I think they will. I think it's almost going to be instantaneous. It'll be like, okay, she's coming, new year, here we go.
Yeah, I think it will be within 3 to 4 months of GL Ahsoka's release that we go into it. Or even tighter than that if they don't bring out any additional characters. But I think Thrawn will be hands down probably even more expensive than GL Ahsoka.
And we've spoken about this before, but I think it's more likely that GL Thrawn becomes an Imperial Remnant, in particular, become featured faction characters for the new raid, rather than GL Ahsoka. I think that the timing is too late almost for GL Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like that's the direction they'll head to with it. But there's nothing saying that they just don't go, well, you know, we can just skip all that and put out a new faction team like they did with Gungans and just do the raid too.
Oh yeah, they could absolutely just do a new legendary team, and it's
there's a lot of possibilities on where they run with that, but yeah, I feel like that's going to be the direction we go. We're just going to go right from GL Ahsoka right into GL Thrawn with very little time in between. And then we'll see what they do next. And that's going to be the question for me, is how tight is the turnaround between GL Ahsoka and GL Thrawn? Because I feel like it's going to be within 3 months. But, you know, it just depends on what they want to add in as characters as requirements, because there's so much Empire they could bring in to flush out the team. That would be an interesting like area for them to just to dump marquees to like start filling out Empire teams that need the lifting. But there's just you could do some stuff with Rebels, you could do some stuff with Empire, you could do some stuff with Imperial Remnant. But I feel like Thrawn's going to be like their Easter egg of just like, we need a few more characters, so if it's close enough, we're just going to make it stick. And then run from there. I feel like, well, like what they did with GL Leia, right? Leia just got like, we got
Nisa,
Scout
Captain
Trooper,
Rex,
Drogon, Nisa, and Captain Rex. I'm like, that she only uses one of them really. I mean, Captain Rex can be used with her, but the other two have no real use on her squad. And
no,
Scout
I don't see many people, running Nisa or Scout with Leia. I don't see. That doesn't happen.
Not very frequently, no. So it's one of those, and that's fine. But I feel like that's what they're going to do with Thrawn. They're just going to be like, all right, what teams need a lift? And then just start pumping that out underneath it. I mean, we might get a different Imperial Trooper. We might get some different characters here and there. Because I mean, that's the thing.
I just thought actually. Yeah, I know you were saying you were hoping that Rook becomes a summoned unit, but Rook would make a lot of sense as a mercenary as well.
He would, but his only tie to lore at all is through Thrawn. So
there's that.
I 100%. He's an assassin for him. But I mean, and I don't remember how that came. How they ended up working together. I believe there's part of it is indentured servitude, if I remember correctly. Really? I believe so, but I don't remember. But yeah, that could be fun. But I think Captain Pelion making that resurgence in the new
Tales of the Empire, wasn't it?
Tales of the Empire. He's a part of the Mandalorian season 3.
Very briefly.
Very briefly, but I feel like they're doing a lot of effort to make him a thing, and so it would make almost absolutely zero sense for him not to exist with Thrawn. But if we're going to go down the road of Imperial Remnant, he's going to be a good candidate for that too. So, and they made an effort to make him a part of Tales of the Empire. So I feel like that's going to be the route we run. Is he'll be the conquest lifter for Thrawn, and he'll have the triple GAC Ami shenanigans.
Oh God! Oh, you just reminded me. Ezra having triple GAC Amis.
And unfortunately, I don't think Ezra's going to be one we can really skip on.
No, I mean this is the problem. I literally have no Amis. Well, no, I think I might have 3 Omicron mats or something like right now because I just did. What did I do? I did like Saw and Luthen. They only got 1 each, obviously.
Yeah.
As in, I know Saw only has one Omni. Luthen has 3. He's only got 1 in my squad. And then after that, I was like, well, I'm going to have to do a Territory War Omni because, the guild wants Territory War Omnis. So I did Great Mother's leadership, and now I'm like, now I have 0. And really, I want to have 3 to just throw on Ezra.
You did the Omni on Great Mothers, and you did the Omni on Morgan.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did Morgan as well. And
yeah, I think 2 weeks ago you were like, oh, it slipped.
yeah. When we were talking about it, I was like, oh, my finger slipped. I'm kind of glad because she's been getting some good holds for me.
Yeah, she's solid.
But yeah, and I also did that god awful Omega Omni as well because of Slack.
Yeah.
So right now I feel like I must try to hoard Omnis for Ezra because I want to be able to use, even though we'll need to have GL Ahsoka to make the most use out of him. I want to be able to do that. Damn it!
Well, and then here's the fun kicker on that too.
Mm.
Baylan is going to be a triple Omni character, and more than likely he will be GAC because Shin was TW.
Yeah, Shin was TW. We don't know what Marek is, but he's going to be
not
TB.
A little T. yeah, more likely. She's not. And the thing with why I think that Baylan will be GAC is because Shin's TW Omni is not a little blurb Omni. It is a paragraph Omni, which means they're probably not going to add on to that because then Baylan becomes a nightmare. We already had a double TW.
Yeah, they don't tend to. They don't tend to double dip. Usually, when people double dip on like the same team having Omicrons for the same game mode, it's usually bigger factions that are either older and have new characters introduced, or no, that's literally it. It's usually just like when you look at Fulcrum with Cal, for example. Fulcrum was quite an old Omicron. Cal came out, both TW armies. Cal's one was literally activating Fulcrum's army in a full team. So that's one situation. And people started throwing that in together with like EP Starkiller and stuff, didn't they? So yeah, it's I don't think because they've come out together, I think it's very unlikely that we'll have another TW army outside of using something like Boba Fett.
They were designed together. That's the main thing. It's like the team is designed all in one go, so the balance is already well thought of. But that'll be the fun part when it comes to the team in general, though, is because like Boba Fett Son of Jango does have the mercenary tag.
Yep.
And so he could be a fun character to throw with Baylan in TW, with Shin and Marok and Fennec, and be crazy. I'm really hopeful that CG has a lot of forethought on the mercenary tag with bounty hunters, and they allow bounty hunters to have their contracts activated once they get to a certain number of
Soldier of Fortune.
Yeah, Soldier of Fortune stacks.
That would be quite cool.
They can gain it, but they don't have any interaction, which is fine. I don't really care that they don't have an interaction with it, but my brain goes, so much of the bounty hunters kits are reliant on contract payouts. There are very few that are good without their contract active because they're missing so much stats, survivability, or just mechanics.
Yeah, they're balanced around, at some point. I mean, you look at OG Mando. OG Mando is objectively a bad character until he's hit contract. He doesn't do anything. Like, his damage is anemic. He just gains turn meter, and he can ignore taunt whilst he's got Bounty Hunter's Resolve. He's got a call to assist that's kind of, So it's like, until he hits contract, he is actually just kind of useless. Then when he hits contract, of course, he's got a very useful ability in being able to insta-kill. And that's very good, but you throw him in a team where he can't get contract, he literally does nothing. He's just a really squishy paperweight. So
well, that and so much of his kit is just hemmed up straight up to bounty hunter because like his turn meter gain on his basic is not restricted, but the TM gain to the rest of the team is
only bounty hunters.
Yeah. So it's like you're kind of stuck in this like, well, you can't even use him with scoundrels because he's stuck with being bounty hunter specific. And so there's a lot of things where I do hope they have some of that foresight to plan that out ahead of time to give them something, because as far as I can tell, they will probably do something with a light side mercenary team at some point, and that's why they gave the light side characters the mercenary tag. But if you go through and look at the dark side mercenary tags, there is not a lot of play left outside of bounty hunters, because like the only ones that don't have their own, I mean, honestly, outside of Afra and Canderous, everyone else is a bounty hunter. Afra leads her own team. Canderous goes with Malmandos 99% of the time. So it's like, after that, it's like everything else is bounty hunter. And
Afra, even if they were to release like dark side mercenaries down the line for that Afra could potentially use to get some Soldier of Fortune stacks and benefits, they would have to be like dark side droid mercenaries and not separatists. It would be like it's such a specific.
They're such a narrow scope, but then like you look at the light side characters, and it's like it's Bam and Cal Kestis and Han and Zalbar and
some really strong light side characters, to be honest.
Really strong, but they have literally no synergy with those other characters, and so it's like I could see at some point them turning around and doing something light side and making that work with a mercenary tag. But it's not going to be with Baylan. I feel like so much of the team is going to be, especially with Datacrons, I feel like the team is going to need to be full dark side, and you can't really escape that. So I feel like with them releasing the punishing one for Dengar, that Dengar makes sense to be in that team as a fourth character, because the AoE tenacity down, if he has the guaranteed critical hits, his kit plays off of every critical hit he scores during his AoE attack, deals more debuffs to the enemy. So there's a lot of things.
Thermals are always fun.
Thermals are always fun. So there's a lot of things where I'm hoping they do have some part of the contract activated when they get to a certain number of stacks. Because that's kind of the duos I see that are left is Boba and Fennec, and then Cad and Dengar, because Aura won't do anything, and Zam is gonna need to be with the bounty hunter team. And then after that, you're basically, Embo and Chrysanthemum live with Jabba. If you take them anywhere else, you're being stupid. Jango lives with Separatists.
So, it's kind of interesting, actually. They did. I know this is going off on a tangent here, but with Marok coming into the game, because we're still talking mercenaries and the Baylan team, they did say that he is actually getting the Inquisitor's tag as well. So it's like,
so they are definitely trying to give players that are not going to get Baylan day one somewhere to put these characters, because like Shin's going to work with Ufus up until you get Baylan. And then same thing for Marok. Marok will work as a Inquisitor character until you have Baylan. And then clearly the mercenary mechanics will get uplifted to the point where it makes the most sense to take Marok back to Baylan.
I'm just wondering if there's going to be, like, are there going to be situations where you really want to use Marok and Inquisitors? I think that there's I like that maybe there can be an element of theory crafting that they bring into it.
There is 100% a chance for that. And again, but it all comes down to what does Baylan's leadership provide? Because it's going to have to override the other tags significantly. And so that's the question I have the majority of the time is like, what is this going to override and change? Because in threes, you could probably find a way to have Marok with, maybe you can split GI and Reva finally, and Marok can fill in and make the teams viable in threes, and then Baylan can take any other mercenary as a third in threes and work really well. It's all kind of a plug and play of what they really want to do with that. My God, if they make Baylan a triple G or triple TB on me, I'll probably lose my mind.
I don't think so.
I don't think they will, because nobody wants to invest. Like they did that with Cal, and everyone was like, well, the only reason we're okay with it is because of the mission on Baraka that requires it.
Yeah,
and
but
it makes
it's
it way easier to have.
it's
You don't
it's
need
still
it, but it
really
makes it way
painful
easier.
that you can't take him as the lead. So it's like one of the missions where you're absolutely going to use Jedi Knight Cal to gain access to Zepho. It's like you
Yeah.
cannot use his leadership TB Omi, which is insanely powerful. Like
Yeah. Well,
that feels like such a
the
misstep.
ability to carry stacks between the
Yeah.
phases would be fantastic, because you could just make that second phase way more reliable.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like turn one, being like, oh, by the way,
There's only two of you now.
Trilla's dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Turn one. All right, and then we go deal with the other guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. And I don't mind TB Amis to a degree, but I think the problem that CG has with the development of TB Amis is that they really, if they want to do TB Amis on teams they're manufacturing for the game mode,
Mhm.
I feel like it needs to be down the road of I can press auto on any CM with this team, and will have a 99% success rate of winning on auto.
On any phase.
On any phase,
Yeah.
on any planet where that team is applicable. That would get me to invest more into TB Omicrons. Because otherwise, like,
well, yeah.
I'm not interested in it, because there's just no point. Like, I understand where they're coming from with it, but it's like the Bo-Katan Mandalore, like Paz's Omicron is very powerful for the Bo Mandos team, makes it pretty much auto.
Yeah.
But then the Gungans one is like it's planet dependent, because some of the light side planets where there's
Gungans in
of,
general is just planet dependent. It's
because if there's tons of mass assisting, if they get onto the generator with a mass assist, you so it's like it should have been like, they should have taken part of Boss Nass's Kron and been like, the first time the generator is defeated, it replenishes with X amount of stacks.
Or they could even have done, like, when you go into a new wave, it respawns. Anything like that, just to give it that little bit of, or after every Gungan's turn, or after every 2 Gungans' turn, you gain 1 stack of plasma shielding.
Or while the plasma generator is active, Gungan tank allies get a locked taunt.
Provoke. Or whatever it is.
Or Mark.
That's it. Sorry.
Yeah. Like anything to help that thing survive. And it's just like, it's like, it's like the Smuggler's Run 2, right? You take Chewbacca there because the tenacity down makes it way easier. Yeah. But the opening salvo every time is, does Chewbacca survive until Coruscant in time?
The other side of it is, like, Chewbacca does that max health damage, which just rips them apart. So as soon as he survives, he's so much quicker as well, because they've got like probably something like 1 million hit points per unit. So he's doing like 100,000 damage in true damage every hit.
Yeah, exactly. and that's the funny part to me, though, is like it makes it way easier, but your every run is like, do they focus Chewbacca down? If the answer is yes, you just restart, which, I mean, is what it is. Like on my alt, I did it this morning. It took me 5 attempts to get the first one done, because literally Chewbacca died before I ever took my first turn with Jabba.
I got lucky this time, and they ignored him both times. Although I do make sure now, whenever I'm doing that run, is as soon as Santi gets his turn, I use the first special to get the taunt up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if Santi's taunting, it's okay.
My main account does better because the modding is way better on that everything. Makes sense. But the alternate account, like past Java, everyone's mods are like, well, it's what we could spare.
You got what's left over, boys.
Yeah, and I'm not remodding.
Level 9 mod over there.
Yeah, I'm not remodding for the event, so it's just okay. No. But yeah, there's a lot that goes with that kind of stuff, where you're just kind of preying on that. And that's what the part I don't like about TB is, like, when you're playing a lot of the light side, and especially like the middle zone missions where they just have so many mass assists. It's just like, all right, guys,
mass assists and dispels. So they're just like, and like Phalanx's taunt is just, it's the worst part about the Gungan's kit. He's such an unreliable tank, because the combination of his taunt lasting 2 turns and the Boss Nass one lasting 1 turn, His only reactive taunt is if the opponent hits the shield generator twice. And with Jar Jar Binks passing random bonus turns, sometimes you can lose that taunt as quickly as you get it. It's just like, for God's sake, man, stop giving bonus turns to Phalanx.
Well, that's like Juhani, right? Like that's what everyone complained about Juhani for, is she's got a 3-turn taunt on a 4-turn cooldown with no reactive way to get it. And she's like, guys,
and she hides after she's lost her protection.
She stealths. Like I get the point. She was designed to work with the Carthonasi team.
Yeah.
But it's such a letdown because like that. Why would you put the Jedi with the non-Jedi team?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Come on. Like I get, because Zalbar is a fantastic tank, one of the best tanks in the game.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, anybody falls below 100% and I'm taunting with Retribution.
It's
and then
obnoxious.
if I'm with Mission, she attacks with me every time I counterattack. So good luck.
Yeah. See, that's what they should have done. They should have done that for Phalanx. Anytime a Gungan ally loses protection, he taunts. That's what he needs.
I mean, it's so hard for Gungans to lose protection. It should have been like, honest to God, it should have been a little bit more.
You mean health, right? Not protection. It's very easy for them to lose protection. Any hit that they take, they'll take protection
any protection. Sorry,
any protection.
I was thinking because with Zalbar, it's when they fall below 100% health. He taunts.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking, you literally
they fall below 100% protection. That would be awesome. Yeah. I would love that.
He needs that because he's not taunting frequently enough. It's frustrating.
But honest to God, it was one of the things I had given back as feedback on the Gungan team was you guys somewhat circumvented the problem of no pre-taunt on Phalanx by having the pseudo taunt with Death Mark on Jar Jar. The problem is that Phalanx should have had a part of his kit that reacted to Death Mark on Jar Jar to make the taunt.
If Jar Jar loses Death Mark, he gains a taunt.
Yeah, gains a lock taunt for 1 turn, and then there's more mechanics at play. But that was part of my criticism with that, because honest to God, once you get once the Datacron, like especially like the 5v5 Datacrons start going away from the Gungans' favor, because the support Cron and 5s is still going to be very powerful for Gungans.
Yeah.
They're just massive sea of debuffs between Jar Jar and Boss Nass. But the it's one of those things where it's like, until that support changes, they can still get beat by gas without Datacrons with relative ease. And so it's like you have a very expensive team that's getting beat by a very old team, and I feel like at that junction it's just like, all right, well, cool, whatever. So it's like if they want to do like these triple GAC Omni characters that have very unique applications, I feel like CG needs to make them a little bit more bulletproof to weak stuff. And I know that's a big power creep issue for a lot of people. If we only have the new stuff, it can only be countered by new stuff, then la-di-da-da. I'm like,
I think there's genuinely, I do have, I still think we are in that era where there's too many counters to everything in the game right now.
Exactly.
GAC is just a clusterfuck. It's like, it's still all efficiency plays, apart from make sure you've got something to counter JMK Plo and Great Mothers if they've got the Great Mother Datacron. That's kind of it right now. But before those characters came in, all those Datacrons are active. It's just like, play efficiency, don't drop a battle. It's just like, not fun.
And like, Leia's one of those things where it's like, she's easy to beat if you outrun her, but she can consume multiple GLs otherwise. But that's kind of the thing, is like, it's just they're very niche things that hold on defense right now, and it's more or less like, do you have enough of the same counter requirements that make it challenging to actually like beat your board? But like, if your opponent goes full offense, like, nothing holds no matter what you do. So at that junction, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, the only caveat I would say is, even with a full offense right now, if Great Mothers with their Datacron is on defense and you don't saved, because it's not like Great Mothers in 3v3 has got a lot of viable counters. There's like 2 or 3 counters that have got a decent level of success rate, and if you happen to have used those, then you, even if you had everything for offense, you might not clear that team, and that could be that could be a real pain for you. So but that's very much a minority case. There's like 1,500 Great Mother Datacrons in the game. It's like it's not like a lot of people have got that cron. It's a very limited.
No, Great Mother basically has 3 counters right now, and if they fail, then you're out of luck. Which is you have Treya in 3 specifically. You have Treya, Slacker, and JMK. Those are your options to counter her. If they fail, or you require multiple teams that require that counter or those counters, then they basically pray to God that when they use Treya versus Great Mothers, that they get Great Mothers out. But if that fails, then it goes right to hell very, very quickly. And that's kind of the direction a lot of this stuff ends up heading, is that you get stuck with, if something does not go perfectly for you, then you're screwed. But if it RNG's in your favor, then you just go through and do whatever you want and you're fine.
Yeah. It's, as far as I'm concerned, I'm always going to be saving JMK Cat Plo. For as long as if there is a Great Mother's Datacron on the enemy team, I'm saving that, because if nothing else, I know I can yeet out Great Mothers, and I'm confident I can clean up. Even if somehow JMK Cat loses after getting rid of Great Mothers, I know that I can always do that.
All I have to do is figure out the doomed targeting on Great Mothers, what she prioritizes, if it's a stat or something, because like if
there are some rules that I've figured out so far.
If Nihilus gets the doomed after they kill the tank, Nihilus can tank the damage.
Oh, can he really? That's
cool. He has so much. Well, with the current Kron, he has so much health, he can tank a lot of the damage without much complication.
Oh, you mean with his level 9 Datacron?
Yeah, with his level 9 Datacron. So he can, because I've done it twice now with Treya. The first time, Set got doomed, died in like very quickly, and then Treya got it. I was able to get the turn onto Nihilus to annihilate Great Mothers, but then they killed Treya, and then it was just, I could not get the damage to kill anybody else.
No, you'd have to hope to get round to another annihilate, and you're probably going to die before that happens. So
yeah, pretty much. And so, because I think Spirit got blessed that time instead of Morgan.
So that's like, that is one of the hard coded things. Morgan Elsbeth only gets blessed if there's no Acolyte or Spirit, and if it's JMK lead. If JMK's leading, Morgan Elsbeth is in the team, she gets blessed 100% of the time. It's in her coding. It's in the I checked it in the mechanics. But the only thing I have noticed, Karth, is there are some similarities to the targeting priorities that we saw for JMK mirrors. Whereas if I did like a JMK Cat Plo team and not run a second tank and throw in GMY, they seem to favor putting Doomed on GMY over Cat. So I don't know if that might have been coincidence, but it happened 3 times in a row, and usually that's enough for me to go, yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah, because Treya is usually fairly high on the list, but
she is.
I've had it before too. Yeah, it feels like in the mirror matching, or when you're using in 5s when you're going against it, like you're gonna have to, because like usually for me they try to mark down JMK, which is hilarious to me.
Oh really? That's like the worst person to mark down at the start.
Yeah, but like I was playing one the other day, and they immediately went to mark down Cat, and like JMK just immediately sputtered out the second, because I couldn't keep her alive through all the attack and turn damage, and then eventually
losing max health.
She got down to like literally 1 bar of health, and it's like, well, you sneeze and she dies, and then they sneeze and she died.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how that'll play out long term, but for a lot of it, it's going to be rough for a lot of things.
Yeah. And again, we're only really talking in 3v3 for the most part here, but 5v5 does have. It feels like 5v5 JMK and crew lead Slacker are pretty solid counters at the moment. You need to have the Datacron for Slacker to work reliably, I feel, in fives. But
I'm terrified of Slacker in fives because I think the Great Mothers will do better against the team in fives than they will in threes.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah, because there's way more damage on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if they have a really good offense cron, they'll decimate your team before you ever get to really take a turn, especially if they have Great Mothers modded quickly.
Yeah. No, I can see that happening potentially. I think that it's heavily reliant on just turn meter looping, right? Which gets harder when there are fewer enemies. So, like, I think you're going to have to do a lot of basics with Slacker because he hits twice. Does that trigger the damage the turn meter gains twice? I think it does, doesn't it? Because it's every crit you gain 10% turn meter. So if you're doing a basic, which I think does damage twice when Slacker's hit,
it will do damage twice and a third time if they're stunned.
Yeah. So doing that and then having Sith Trooper assist with the double Datacron, you're almost guaranteed to get another turn, obviously. But it's rough all the same.
Yeah, you have to basically get through it. You have to bounce the stuns as best you can between the two of them and just keep everything else locked down. And then turn around, and when you get into alt, just start swiping left, right, and center and get rid of the damage, because Slacker, once he siphons enough, that he becomes almost nigh unkillable. Versus the other characters. But you have to get to that like first alt and get the siphon swipes and stuff out of it, and then you're much harder to put down. But the I think for a lot of people, it's going to be your Slacker needs to be 590 plus speed. You need to have health primaries on basically everything besides the speed arrow, and pray for the best when it comes down to it.
I haven't done any testing with the crew lead, I'll be honest. Not yet. My Slack is still relatively slow, but he's like,
the problem with the crew lead is that
health or something.
If you lose you have to get to the alt, and if you lose control after that, you are 100% hosed, because losing all of those all that max health from the TM procs.
Oh yeah, you'll die like drop of a hat, right?
Yeah, you will. If Spirit gets the blessed. He'll one tap you if you're not in your alt. And that will happen almost irregardless. That's the thing about the Slacker counter I'm worried about, because there are some ungodly crons that like my alt rolled 110% offense.
Yeah, I think mine's about the same. Let me check that real quick.
My R5 Spirit is a terrorist on the ultimate account.
Let's see. Yeah, I genuinely, after I did some testing with Great Mothers, I took Spirit from R3 to R7, and then I throw like a ridiculously fast high offense set on her. So I think my Spirit is 316 speed and 10k offense, 10,500 offense. So I was just like, make her hit really hard and go really fast. And my Cron has got 115% offense.
Yeah,
there's so much damage.
So like my Night Sister Spirit Relic 5, with a crit damage set and next to no offense on it, has 11,500 on it, because I have 90% on that Cron. I got 90% offense on the Cron. So 5,000 damage of that is coming from the Cron.
Yeah,
and it's just like ridiculous. Yeah, I could take her up to R7 and do it. I could mod her for offense. I just don't care enough right now to she doesn't even have offense on any of the besides the square. Nothing. It's all like survival stats. It's just super nutty.
Just checking my Night Sister Spirit with the Datacron on, she's got 18,347 offense.
Yeah, it's stupid nutty, man. Like it doesn't make a lick of sense in the stats on that Great Mother's Cron. If you got lucky and rolled super high,
I've seen
what
people with over
prevents
200% offense on these.
I,
Like they
I
locked
have
out
I have
huge.
yeah, I have seen some of those teams become unkillable by anything besides JMK because of that offense percentage roll. It becomes impossible for them to survive the damage because Spirit's basics are doing like 300k
Yeah.
and will one shot anybody who is doomed no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
Yeah.
well, that was fun. I'm glad that wrecked my face off.
Which is precisely why I modded her so fast and offensively, just for threes. Specifically for threes. I just want her to be really quick, and you really have to hope she doesn't get a turn.
Well, that's
if
the
she
thing.
gets a turn, she's gonna kill someone.
Yeah, her basic strips turn meter too, so like it makes
Yeah.
it even that much more terrifying to have her quick on like versus Tals and
Oh my
not
god!
Tals,
I just seen Rockerin
Freya.
in the chat saying he faced a 30k offense Spirit, 270% from the Crun. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's where you're praying to God that your armor gets those the crit immunity stacks onto Slacker prior to the. But even then, it's like it doesn't have to crit. That's still gonna hurt having 30k base offense.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that is
especially when she gains 100% offense when she's got foresight.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's even worse. Like it's just it's that level of like there's just so much nuttiness happening all at the same time where it's just like, oh my god, make it stop.
You guys. Yeah.
Yeah, because my main account only got like 45%, which I mean still is
I mean it's still that's probably from like one roll on the level 6 or something, is it?
I believe so.
5 or whatever it is. But yeah, most of mine is from a roll on the level 7. It's like it's got like 95% offense on that one roll, and then I've got one on like the first roll for like an extra 20%. So it's like most of it comes from one roll. So I'm disappointed. If I got both of those level 9s as offense percentiles, that would have been sick. Yeah. But you can't re-roll it, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, you can't re-roll the offense portion of it. So whatever rolls offense you keep, and then everything else gets to go by the way of the dodo. But
Chester, to be clear, Karth's R5 Spirit is on his alt account. I imagine his main account has got like an R8 Spirit.
Yeah.
She's a good guess.
Actually, it does pain me to know that my lowest relic Night Sisters are Old Daka and Mother Talisman.
That feels so backwards. It feels so backwards.
I know.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't expect them to be higher relics than Great Mothers or even Morgan, really, for the R9 tank.
No, Daka was an R9 like thing for a while because she's a healer that
Secret
gains
and Sages as well.
Yeah, she gains quite a bit of health. Talisman, just because her special offense is pretty high, and so it does well. But the Night Sisters are just they come and go with favorability. Frequently, so it's like, who really cares?
They're currently pretty heavily in favor, but it's not because of Great Mothers and it's because of Great Mothers, not because of Mother Talzin and Old Daka. So.
Yeah, and the problem is too is that like without the revive mechanic in play, like Talzin just has no real synergy with it. Marin has some because of her uniques; they're helpful to have her in the team, but outside of that, there's just not a lot of reason to mix and match a ton. And I think in fives, even in GAC, you're probably not gonna mix and match a ton. You're probably gonna try to split them if you have the Omicron investment in
probably
Asajj and Talzin. So it's like I get it, but I don't think it's really gonna like be the end all be all. It's just there is so much with the combination between set 15 and 16 right now that just makes like you get one and done counters and then everything else fails. And so we'll see what happens when we get back to the next set of fives and everything's in place. And because it's like if you can find a way to get Moff Gideon to have heal immunity on the board, then he'll just run them right over.
That's literally all you need. And any sort of heal immunity, shock, generally speaking, if he can start his infinite turn meter train, he can kill them. It's just they've got so much tenacity, so much cleansing, so much speed. Like it's a real butt puckering setup. It's like, can we get them heal immunity and not have them take a turn? Because quite often they just cleanse it before you get that opportunity.
I need AoE heal immunity. I need AoE tenacity down, and I need AoE shock. It's like, all right, well, you've got a very specific team that can do that in 5s, and they're not the fastest characters.
No, yeah,
and that's the thing too with her having that bonus turn back to back. It's like there's just, besides Han, there's not a heck of a lot you can do. And she's gonna, even with Han, it doesn't really buy you anything because she's gonna get a bonus turn at the end of your turn. Beast unlocked for it.
What would really be helpful is if DTMG actually bloody pre-taunted. That would be really useful.
Like he does in TW?
Like he does in TW. But if he just did that generally, that would make Gideon so much better as a counter, because you could probably set things up then. But as it stands, it's a little bit tricky. Well, it's also very handy to have some form of TM control for the enemy team to stop them getting all that bonus turn meter that they always get. So. Yeah,
there's just so many things to counteract against it right now, and then the attacks at a turn really hamper a lot of the forward progress.
Yeah,
because that's like what really stops like JMK from just like annihilating the crap out of her. So it's like I'm a little wary of what the next set's going to hold that's going to actively counteract that Kron, because I feel like it's going to be like,
hi Balin.
Oh yeah, Balin, save me.
Is it going to be a case of Balin will be the new Great Mother Kron, and people will be saving their Great Mothers to try and counter Balin on defense? It'll be something stupid like that.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all if that's the trend we went down. Because it feels like that's kind of what they do. They release stuff, but then I mean, like the question. So that means like Ezra won't have a Kron likely until the one in December, which is fine. I can live with that.
I can live with that.
But there's just so much, and it'll probably be Spectre. Let's be honest; they're not going to give us a freaking. They're not going to give us a. Yeah, well, because that's the only mechanic that's going to tie everyone together is Spectre.
Yeah, well, I mean that. Oh, sorry, you're talking about GL Ahsoka Tano getting Spectre as the tag. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the Datacron.
Yeah, it's the level 6.
Yeah,
no, the level 6 being Spectre.
Yeah, he doesn't have. He doesn't have Phoenix in his tags anyway, does he? So
no.
It's not going to be a Phoenix tag. Spectre will have to be there.
And I feel like Spectre's not going to go anywhere else at this junction because the fact that they didn't add it to anybody else when they released Ezra, like they did. They added all the mercenary tags to everybody else.
At least not yet. You know, maybe they do later, but I doubt it. I don't think
maybe. Yeah, I have doubts. But
press F to doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're living in a funny old world at the minute. Too much going on. Too much.
Yeah. Just way too much. Way too much on the horizon. There's just not time to deviate and invest in other things. And so it's like everything is, well, enjoy the grind, the never-ending grind for a little while.
I'm really hoping that Marok doesn't come out this coming week. I'm hoping there's still a week break.
Marok is 2 more weeks out, more than likely.
You think 2 more weeks? I think it's going to be, you know, not this coming week, the week after. I think it's going to be a 2-week gap, but that's just me.
It should be a 2-week gap, but we have the GCs to last us for 3 weeks, and so estimated update is October 9, which in my book makes 100% sense. Mm-hmm. For the one reason that they do not want Marok farmable prior to Balin going live.
Yeah, but even with Bo-Katan Mandalore, we still had the one shipment with what's his face.
He went live literally the shipment. That no, he didn't go live.
Yeah, Keller and Beck was there Thursday, and then the event launched on the Friday.
Yeah, you're right. We had one.
So, I remember seeing it, and I was like, even if it was 2 weeks, I could have done it. Yeah, I could have got like Bo Mando the first time because I would have needed 2 weeks of Keller and Beck in shipments, but it was just 1 week, and I was like, I can't get them unlocked. But But
yeah, I would be surprised if they do that. I think they want to have the first pass be way more exclusive and force the whaling for anyone who's close.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm just not seeing like the need to, because it 100% depends on how they distribute the Balin Datacron. And in addition to that, if Balin is a reoccurring monthly like Bo-Katan did,
I have a feeling. I have a feeling it's almost going to be a case of they're going to make Balin a monthly recurring event, and after his first appearance, they might just push Bo to be a journey guide. They might just put her in the full journey guide straight away.
That would they probably will. Bo's 1 year will be what,
December 10th or something like that, isn't it?
Her first release was later than that,
like 15th, 16th.
It was the 11th. Like yeah, I don't remember.
It's her event comes round on the 10th, usually around the 10th, each month.
Each month, yeah.
So yeah, I like, because if we're expecting October, so first one would obviously be first release, but if he then comes back around the same time, like a month later, I'd be like, maybe they'll just go, oh, okay, by the way, Bo's in the journey guide permanently now. And then we'll, like, every year we'll have one epic confrontation style character that just turns up once a month until the next one releases. I don't know if that's how they'll do, but
I don't know either, but my guess is that they will probably make the farming window on Marok really tight to unlock Balin in time.
I'm confident that's 100%
my
the case.
assumption is going to be is that the Kron will be naturally farmable, like Bo-Katan was. It will not be event specific.
No, I don't think so.
I
think it's coming to the. I think it's going to be the very first time he releases. You get it or you miss it. Like, I think that's how they're going to do it. And I think it's a kick in the dick. But
I can't really. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, but I think if they do that like kills the reason to farm it on the next month almost immediately.
Oh, I agree.
Because you're going to miss out on so much power, and there are going to be. I feel like that's not the right play, because I think what you want to do is what they did with Bo-Katan. Those who had Bo and her Kron early,
they'd have to cut it off eventually, because
I think it'll be farmable. I think it'll just be farmable.
Oh, you just think it's going to be a farmable Kron?
Yeah, like Bo-Katan's was just farmable.
It's just weird because they said in the FAQ they said he's going to get. Didn't they say he's going to get an exclusive one?
He will have a Datacron when he launches, and they said that in the QA post.
It was the Q&A. Yeah, I want to get that up. Q&A for it was Shin, wasn't it? Shin Hattie.
Yeah.
See if I can. Because they used. What was it? Does she have a God's... no, all it says does not have a bespoke Datacron, but Balin's first run will. It says right there, her marquee does not have a bespoke Datacron, but Balin's first run will. That reads to me like it's like first time you get it or you're fucked. Which is really weird, because if we go back and look at the Bo-Katan release, that was the least engaged legendary they've released in years. Like, was it 1,000 people unlocked her? Which is really
not
low.
even. Not even.
It was like 913 or something weird like that. So now don't get me wrong. I think Balin's going to have a bigger uptick than that.
Oh, a lot more people care about him.
He's a lot more popular, and I don't think we had the bonus marquees for.
No, that was the other thing. Is
either.
that more people are adopting. Like, if you look at how many 7-star Shins are in play after Tuesday's refresh, and probably like Wednesday this week, that'll give you a good indication of how many people are going to be close. But I would say the biggest indicator is going to be Marok. How many people have 7-star Marok after his marquee event ends will be the direct line correlation between the two, because if there are people who are going to just shipment farm the rest of Shin because they know they have the time for it. There's still one more marquee to come.
Oh, definitely. And we know that Marok is the last requirement. Well, we don't know Marok is. We know there's one more requirement. We're making assumptions that it's Marok because that makes the most fucking sense. But
I mean, honest to God, they already told us in the mercenary post the next 3 things that are coming. So it's like
exactly, yeah.
it's like when people were like, oh, they're gonna have to release these marquees before they finish what was in the road ahead. And I'm like, no. CG only tells us what is guaranteed in play.
Pretty much, yeah.
They do not say anything else. So if they don't have it on the final ready to go docket, we don't know about it. That's 100% how they've always been. So it's like we started working our way through what was in the road ahead. It's like, well, we've got everything but Great Mothers. She's the next thing to come. And we're like, no, Shin's coming next. I'm like, nah.
Got Phoenix Squadron 101 in the chat. When do we cover the Rey versus Kenobi bug? I think I figured it out. I'm not sure if you saw my GAC on Friday night.
I did see that, yeah. I did see that part.
So did you see that scenario where
Ben was dying with Rey above 50% health?
She had like 90% health and he died like 3 times. I think it's an interaction between Visas Mars revive, because Ben revived after Ben got killed, and then Visas Mar got killed, triggered her Omicron, and revived him. And I think it was part of that revive that screwed it up, because he didn't get revived by his own unique, which is when the enemy leader takes their turn. He got revived by another mechanic, and I think that kind of screwed up whatever was going on.
They have the same problem now. Well, it's the same problem. It's what's his nuts. Chrysanthemum now has the double revive from the tank revive level 3 cron. And they've separated how the revives are treated now. And so it might have been that the first revive didn't or messed up one of the uniques on him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking from looking back at it. That's how he died, because I'm wondering if there's some sort of tag that ticks when he revives that he checks for, is Rey above 90% health? And because he didn't revive from that normal scenario, it got triggered by Visas Mars Datacron. I think it just didn't trigger that check, and he just kept on dying. I was looking back at that, and I made a bunch of mistakes in that. I will put that down to a couple too many shoeies and shots and stuff, because I definitely could have won that battle, but I made the same mistake constantly over and over and over again. So I think I could have won that, and I think that's probably what I'm going to try again in a more sober state of mind if I happen to see JMK Plo on defense again. But yeah, it was interesting. It was good fun GAC, that was. It was good fun GAC. Tough defense to break through. Oh, and I told you, Karth, who I've got in my next round of GAC.
Oh, yeah, it's Warrior.
I got Warrior, man. Old school OG content creator for Galaxy of Heroes. Warrior Presents. Yeah. That's insane, dude. I'm terrified. He's got 14.1 mil GP.
Yeah. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun for you.
I
wish you the best of luck.
Like, obviously, his mods are all better. He's got somewhere in the region of 40 to 50 Relic 9s. Lot more rerolls on Datacrons. He's got 2 million more GP, man. Like, at my point, when I'm 12.2, having 2 million GP, that's a hell of a lot that he's got in the tank to just tear me apart, basically. So, I don't like my odds. But it'll be an honor to face a legend like Warrior. So, yeah.
I will die with honor.
I will bend over and say, it's been a pleasure, sir. Now, I'll give him my best shot. Obviously, I'll give him my best shot, but I don't like my odds.
Yeah, right? It's going to be an interesting fight. That's
and you've got a Gildy.
On the alt, yeah. I've got a Gildy on the alt. Are you looking to...
I don't know. I'm fine. I don't mind doing it, but if you want to face off against Evo, that's fine. If Evo wants to face you, that's fine.
I just thought it would be funny to have it publicized for him, but I don't really care either way.
Yeah,
I didn't change anything about the defense, and I'm not going to in the last 40 minutes.
Yeah, so. I wasn't because I was going to run both your accounts last Friday. Wait, what? No, you know what I mean.
The week before.
But when I went to log in, it asked me to send you a notification again, and I was like, no, I'm not going to bother Karth with trying to get an authorization code to gain access to the account now, because even though I'd logged in before, it tried to do a re-authentication on the account. I was like, no, okay, I'm not doing it. Like, simple as that.
Yeah, it was. Oh, yeah, that was when I was. Yeah. Okay.
So-
I was like, I was wondering why that was the case. I was trying to do that in the middle of an open field with no self service. So
Yeah, so that ain't
it
going.
was.
That gonna
It
fly.
was fun. I did like half the battle, and then I think I just ended up like quit trying. I think I got because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I think I got stuck on AdRad with
no.
Rogue One Cron.
Was it with POW as well, or was it
no, it was just
K2SO?
K2SO and Jin. But it was
Pain.
whenever they take a turn, they recover health, and I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to it, so I sent like Maul Mandos in to fight it,
And it did nothing.
and it did nothing. And I had Lord Vader for a different fight, and I could have used Maul Mandos on that fight, and then used Lord Vader there and won, but I wasn't paying attention. So I was like, if I could have cleared, I would have won.
Yeah.
But I wasn't paying attention to what was happening, and I didn't even notice what was going on. I was like, oh, well, all my teams left are Attack of the Turn teams, so crap.
Damn it.
I could have maybe got it with Jedi Knight Revan if I had just let the game time out on killing Adrad with Cal.
Yeah.
But I got greedy and pressed another button, and then Jen took a turn, had her AoE up, and revived him. And then Adrad hit his contract and immediately decimated my team. I was like, well, that was fun. All right,
it's
cool.
It's all fun and games. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was. I mean, it don't really bother me, but I mean, yeah, if you wanna do it just to televise it, then that's fine.
I mean, if you're around, you can jump on and be a part of it. But it'll be tomorrow, close towards the end of. It's probably a bit early for you, to be honest, doesn't it?
Just 100% depends on the win.
Yeah,
because I mean, usually you go live just before my lunch break starts, so it would.
Yeah, so it'll be about. It'll be probably 2 hours before this time tomorrow. Basically.
Yeah, no, it should be doable.
Yeah, that'll be fun. But, like, why not? If you can fit it in, of course. So yeah, it's good times. Oh, my days. Yeah. So what else is news? We've got bonus drops coming up next week as well, haven't we? Which is kind of sick. So I'm looking forward to getting me some Zetas.
I have absolutely like there's nothing that I can even get from them that's useful to me, and I'm like, all right, well.
It's hard being a whale. It's hard being the whale.
I'm not gonna spend any of my normal energy because that's all being stored up for the Galactic Legends that are coming.
Yep. Which I'm super happy about.
I could whale for the packs for, but again, I don't need Zetas. I've got 500 on my main account. That. Oh no! What am I ever gonna do with all these extra Zetas? Like we would need to go through
your main account that has every Zeta has 500 Zetas in the bank.
Yeah, so like we would need 25 Zetas released within like a month for me to even like notice the fact that I'm running low.
Yeah, no, I think you're okay. They'll just release like 3 GLs once a month, and
so like when we get Ezra, we get Ahsoka, we get Balin, we get Marok, we get the other 3 characters for Ahsoka.
We get a rework for Dengar to celebrate the punishing one.
I'll probably whittle into like maybe the high 200s because Ahsoka's like she's 120 on her own. I think Ezra is going to be
but it's
Ezra
not like
3 Zetas or 2 Zetas on Ezra.
I don't actually know. He's triple Omni, but that doesn't necessarily mean triple Zeta. I can't remember. And it's not like you're not going to be gaining Zetas between now and when all these you're still farming Zetas.
Well, yeah, I still net like there's 1, 2, he's 3 Zetas. Okay, 3 Zeta character. Okay. I'm assuming Balin will be the same. So I mean, like, there's going to be a lot of releases that come back and forth here really quick that are going to.
This is why I'm looking forward to those Zetas, because I'm obviously going to have to do all of that as well. But I don't have 500 Zetas. I've got like 180. So
yeah, so that's good.
I'm going to be clinching.
That's 8. No, that's 9 Zetas. 180 is 9.
Yeah, 9 Zetas. Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. That's good for, that'll get you through Balin and Marok,
I'll
and
get
then
all of Balin's, all of Marok's, and
but
we'll
you
be able to
but
get
you
all of Ezra's as well.
yeah, but you literally cannot deviate
Oh
for the
no,
next
yeah.
6 weeks
I
on
like
anything Zeta related. That's
I,
not the
I
newest
there
stuff.
are no luxury Zetas that I can drop right now.
Yeah.
Because I'll need an extra 120 for Ahsoka Tano in general, and God forbid, Sabine and Hu Yang and maybe General Syndulla come, and they all
I
require
mean,
between 1 to 3 Zetas.
they're all going to be a minimum of 1. I
Yeah.
guarantee 1 will likely be a 2 Zeta character.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of the new character releases they've been doing lately have only been 1 Zetas if they're just marquees, which has been a nice relief. But who knows? Who knows?
Well, because it goes back and forth on what they are. Because usually, if they're the leader of a squad, they have 2 Zetas,
Yeah.
like Great Mothers does, and I think Captain Enoch has 2 as well.
Oh, I can't remember. Let me
Maybe
have a
not.
look.
Imperial Remnant. There's the right tag.
No,
No,
he's got-
Night Trooper has. Yeah, no, Night Trooper
Night
has
Trooper's
2.
got
Captain
2,
Enoch and Captain Enoch had 2. Pretty had 1. So I mean, it goes up a little bit back and forth.
1 and 2 for a marquee seems about normal. But yeah, so is what it is. Is what it is.
But so like with the other 3 marquees for Glatt that we're looking at another like 3 to 6. So it's like you need to have probably the better part of like 240 and
yeah.
it's just like,
well, I mean, it feels like I need like 200 Zeta mats on top of what I currently have.
So, exactly. Like it's like nothing feels like enough, and that's kind of like the low key challenge of where we're at with some of this stuff.
Yeah, because even though these new bonus drops are going to give Kyrotech, I'm not even phased by the Kyrotech because I still have 2,000 of each Kyrotech right now. So obviously that will get eaten up by these next marquees, but I still actively farm Kyrotech, so I don't feel pressured by that right now. So I'm mostly caring about hopefully getting a full Zeta out of this event drop. Hopefully getting a good boost to the amount of Zetas I have in my account, because like I said, we're going to need them. There's loads of characters coming out, and a GL 120 Zeta mats right out the window. And you can say you don't need all the Zetas day one. Obviously you don't, but you kind of do at the same time.
But let's be honest, though. Let's be honest, is that only really holds up for the people who aren't playing at the top end of the game. I feel like you cannot meaningfully say that and mean it when you're talking about people who are playing in Kyber 1 and above. Like, I feel like that's just a massively disenfranchising.
Well, that is the world of Kyber 1, which is the world that I play in. Sure, I don't play in the same Kyber 1 you play in. They're very different worlds. But
I mean, you do on Fridays.
on Fridays I do very badly, but it's not the point. It's like Kyber 1 right now is a very, very competitive environment. Even at the bottom end of Kyber 1, it's just kind of nutty. You know what I mean?
Well, with all the squish that's happened over the course of the last couple of months, it's really kind of the bottom end of Kyber 1 used to be like 10 to 12 million GP players that were just, they were bouncing back and forth between the two. And now it's like, if you are 1 point above the threshold, you mostly fight 13 million and 12 million GP players. You don't really see a lot below that unless you get lucky and you pick up the poor guy that is coming down from the top end of Kyber 1 at like 4 million GP, and then you can have some fun.
Last week I found that bloke that high, like his account baffled me. He's 11.3 million. He'd been playing for about 4 years. I did the math on that. 4 years, 11.3 million, basically had all the GLs. No, he had all the GLs, had all the legendary releases. He had better mods than I do, which I'm gobsmacked. Paying 2 years less than me, and you have better mods? I was like,
it's
what?
The power of whaling.
The power of whaling. I was like, Jesus Christ. I'm not trying to say like I've got the best mods in the world. I know I don't have the best mods in the world.
Oh yeah.
But it's
I always feel really cool about my mods but like my frame of reference is kind of shite.
Yeah.
So I was like, I always felt like, having 100 plus of the plus 25s, like you were in a good spot, and that was really cool. And then like I started getting top end Kyber 1, and it's like everyone I face is like pushing 200 plus, and I'm like, Damn it.
Damn it. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to be that guy. So
yeah, it's painful.
You have to kind of spend on the mod materials, but like there's only one of the packs that I even spend on for mods, and it's the $20 suffer the 6A through 6E modding.
Okay.
Because it's all fixed at that point. I do not like doing paid packs for chance. It's like, no, thank you. And I'm not going to spend crystals on it because I need them for so many other things that it's just one more thing I don't need to spend my vaults on. But but I mean, people who do take mods quite seriously, they do buy those all the time. They have they're 6Aing a lot of their mods that can keep getting rolled up for more speed, and they just keep pushing it. So I mean, that's 100% where that comes into play. You know, if I really wanted to take the mod game up, I would probably spend through the 200s every day on modding energy and getting new mods and rolling the materials for.
It's kind of nutty that like I can't even do that because it's really expensive. Not crystal wise, I mean credit wise. It's really expensive to do that.
But the thing too is like that means that if you're doing that, you got to need to refresh all the tiers of the new assault battle with Padawan Obi-Wan and Master Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
To have the credit income to do it, you spend all of your extra currency goes to anything that can purchase credits, like your arena currency or whatever else.
Your raid currency.
Yeah, you purchase credits with that to kind of keep that ball rolling, and that's all you do. And so like I don't really care enough to be that. I think I'm like pushing in on 150 plus 25 mods right now.
Nice.
So I
think I'm in the 90s, something like that, like 92 maybe.
My alt I think is 72, which it was atrociously bad before I took it over. So I'm not like I don't care, but at the same time I would like that to at least at some point hit 100. But it's just
91 I have 91 plus 25s.
Yeah, I would like to be at 100 for the GP. I would like to be at least a minimum of 100. But
I would like to be at 300. But you know, I don't make the rules.
I would like to have it's like I would like to have my top 12 or my top 15 squads all be plus 25 on every mod, no matter what. And I'm like, oh, that would be great, but you know, that's
not how it goes. Not how it goes. If I could just find a way of like just finding, you know, my top 20 best mods and just duplicate them like 100 times. Yeah. If I could just have copies of that.
If I could just have like a lot of plus 29s, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I've got one right now, so we're starting, but that's one doesn't cover the entire roster of 270 odd characters, unfortunately.
So yeah, if in 5v5 to have all your characters with plus 25 mods in on your just your defensive team, defensive team, that would require 275.
Yeah, so let's just say around 600 25 pluses, and you'd be okay.
You'd be okay.
You'd be okay. You could make it work.
You could dominate the board. But the game is they have done things in the game that have made having super high speed on everybody kind of a moot point. And right now it just depends on what you have. Like, you know, you want your Leia to be really fast in the meta right now because one of her best counters is Slacker, but only if Slacker goes first. Oh, dude, if you don't stun Drogon first, it gets scary really quickly. So it's one of those things where like I
think my Leia is actually stupid fast right now.
Yeah, mine's 5.
Yeah, mine's
5.4.
Mine's 571 at the moment. She's very quick. I'm like, she's not exactly a fast GL.
No, she's not. My Slacker is 589 because
oh my god, that is lightning quick.
He needs to be a minimum of like 585 because Leia gains, I believe, 40 speed with her lead.
Yeah,
and Slacker only gains 30, so he needs to be plus 11 on minimum. Whatever Leia's speed is. So I'm like, I've got to be quick.
I got to be real quick. And that used to be fun with his level 9 Datacron. Because if you could go in with a ridiculously fast, high offense Slacker, you could just start off with an AoE and kill everybody. It's just like, zoom, zoom, everybody dies.
Swipe and dead. And it's like, I felt so good.
Yeah,
and now it's just like, now it's just like, I can't do enough at all, ever.
Yeah, yeah. So mine is still my Slacker is still slow but very tanky right now. So he's like 540,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
192k health.
yeah. It comes down to what you want to counter with the team, and then that
Yeah.
kind of you can play back and forth from there. But yeah, one of those things where it's like, I would like to be faster on a lot of fronts.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I mean, in an ideal world, we'll just have it all. But again,
Yes.
if that happens to me, it can happen to other people, and I don't want everybody to have. Well, let's be honest. Almost everybody I face has got better mods than me, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Oh, dear
I
me.
feel that on a very personal level.
Yeah, yeah. I did get lambasted in my my Queen Amidala trio video today. Somebody in the comment section there was just like, I like how casual these content creators are when they're like, just put these amazing god mods on all your characters and the raid's done. And I'm like, it's not my fault that the raid is so flipping hard that if you want to max score with an undermanned team, you need mods.
Like, whoa. Listen, just caveat it. Listen, you don't need good modding if you're willing to take 2 more characters to R9.
I genuinely think even with 2 more characters, you probably still need decent mods to get that run to max.
But Kenobi will almost Kenobi will almost guaranteed crit at the R9 tier.
Because he's at plus 100% crit chance at that point, isn't he? So
yeah, so he's like it's gonna be more and at the R9 tier you're gaining more bonuses for the GR faction anyways.
Yeah.
So it's just like I get where they're coming from, but that's always been how the newer raids have worked. Either your mods cover your lack of relic investment, or your relic investment covers your lack of mods. That is how it works.
Yeah.
If you don't like that, then don't worry about scoring well in the raid.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that is the other solution. It's like you can absolutely do it with lower tier mods, but you're just going to have to settle for 3.1 million and not 3.6.
Yeah, exactly.
But to be honest, even then, getting 3.6 million in that team with that trio is still really bloody hard and RNG dependent with god mods. It's not easy even with the good mods. So him expecting me to somehow create a team that can do it with shit mods, it's just you're asking for your cake and eating it too, man. Like, you can't have it both ways. It's like you said, you need to go ahead, take R2D2 to R9, benefit from that number crunch Zeta kicking in, giving you extra crit chance, giving you extra offense. Take another character, I don't know, maybe Mace if you want to lose him from your Keller and Beck team, or I don't know.
You have Consular, Ethkoth, or Jedi Guardian are
there are not many options available to you.
Consular's at least a pilot, so there's a net benefit there, and Ethkoth is a platoon requirement at R9, but not everybody needs that, so that would kind of suck as well. But I mean, I would rather take Consular if I was forced to do one, because of just being the pilot and the negotiator fleet can benefit from that. But outside of that, it's like R2D2 does make the run a lot easier. With just putting the best mods you've got available, whereas it's the QA trio is a lot more
it's gnarly, it's
challenging, because it's like, if you don't do enough damage at the beginning, it sucks. If your turn's gonna get a little out of whack, it sucks. But it's just one of those things where it's like you really have to go back and forth on what the plays are until
it's the RNG, man. Yeah, like sometimes you actually want the enemy to have the charge modifier so that you can go into a wave and have them take a turn, hit you till you get advantage on Padawan Obi-Wan. Like, sometimes you want that to happen, and other times, if you get it too frequently, it sucks. Like, it's and the amount of things that have to align to make it perfect run for an undermanned team is pretty severe. So, but again, I reiterate, it's not my fault that the raid was built that way. That doesn't make the video guide useless. So I got a little bit defensive about it. I was like, come on,
people can be salty about it, but it is what it is. I mean, that's just it's always been how the raids work, is that you either have relic investment or you have mod to counteract it. And then it goes either direction from there. And so, I get people don't like that, and it's harder at the earlier levels to replicate that. But
it was definitely the same for the Leia solo. That needed very specific types of modding. Sure, I don't think the layer solo was quite as bad, but it wasn't like you could have shit mods and get it done.
6 good mods
instead of 18.
But yeah, I get where they're coming from. But at the same time, it's just like one of those things where it's like, okay, well, if you can't do it with your mods, then your next solution is more relics or just taking your 3.1. You don't have to max it. It's just a pride thing at that junction. It's like, so it's like, if you can hit your guild's average without having to max it, then it doesn't even matter what you have equipped. They'll get through, the majority of the combat with just decent mods. You just you're not going to get a max score.
And so, sometimes you got to be comfortable with not max scoring. I mean, I never am. I'm snobbish like that, but
yeah, my alt, I'm not comfortable with it just because of the sake of I need a max score to max the personal track.
Yeah,
but like this last raid, by the time I got to it, we already hit the max crate, and so I got 5.6 something.
Yeah. You proper phoned it in then. You did like 2 teams.
Oh yeah, I did Gungans and QA, and that was it.
I'm surprised you even did QA. I would have done like Keller and Beck or something.
No, it was, honest to God, it was just because of where it landed me on the personal track. It landed me just past like the 6 million mark on the personal track, so I was only missing 300 Mark III for the rest of the raid, and I'm like, I am not going to pull hair for the next hour and a half trying to get 6 runs done, because I already tried the Lumi run on my main account like 6 times. Really? And literally
what relic tier do you do for Lumi then? 7?
8.
R7. Oh, you've got R8 Lumi. Oh yeah. Sorry.
So I have everything R8 on the main account outside of the QA run, but I just couldn't get it to stick. They would the leader would take the turn at the inopera time, and then I would lose a character, or I stalled out. Like on my one run that I finally got to the last wave on with everyone alive, it was the bonus turn guy. He went second, so I took my turn. He went second, dispelled all my buffs. Then before Kit Fisto could come back and get potency up, because I left it off cooldown on the previous run, both Droidicas moved.
Yeah.
Got their damage immunities up, and then killed Kit Fisto, and then the run was over. There was no way I could do the damage. I'm like, all right, well, nope, I'm done. I tried like for like 20 to 25 minutes just trying to get the Lumi run done, and I was like, I looked at where we were at, and I'm like, I'm just phoning it in now. I don't give a shit. Like,
yep, we're done.
I am not going to keep batting my head against this one. And I think too many of the mods have changed since the last time I put this loadout together. So I might need to just look at that.
Yeah.
But there's so many things, like if Kit Fisto, like, cause I run it with them being slower, and then, which is, I don't know if that's still ideal. I'll probably look at modding them differently, but it works well on the alt, just the main account. That R8 tier, I just get absolutely dick rolled over by that. So
yeah, that's not for me. I'm done with raid investments now. I don't feel like pushing for the max crate is worth for the max personal crate is worth it. I just don't care. Like,
I mean,
okay with
unless
out on that title.
Unless you do the unless there becomes a need to do like the Gungans on a higher tier for like TB, which is what was where my head went initially, was like, oh, we'll take Gungans to R9 for TB, and then when we started falling on the ability to fill out platoons in TB, I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna invest into those characters if we're not gonna hit R9 CMs. So I was like, nope, there goes that one. And then I thought about doing like the Keller and Beck team, because I already have Keller and Beck and Mace Windu at R9.
Okay.
Cam wouldn't be a bad one. GMY is a platoon requirement at R9, but then it was like, I really don't want to do Ayla.
Yeah, no, who would?
So it's like, oh man,
there are no good choices here.
Yeah, there wasn't like, I could get 2 of them, but then I'm like, I couldn't get all 3, and so I was like,
I still kind of think that you can actually duo Darth Maul Sidious at Relic 9. I feel like
it's
that
a
could happen.
possibility. Yeah.
So that's two. But again, those are not two characters you want at Relic 9. Like, they literally won't get used anywhere else.
I mean, Sidious does have some use at Relic 9.
Does he?
And he's a platoon requirement, but his Omicron is actually really good at the higher levels. We just are kind of in a Datacron set that's not utilizing at the moment. But
yeah, his Datacron is gone.
Well, there's the in 5s, it's just not very frequent that he gets thought about because the team doesn't need it. But the Sidious Omicron giving all that max health to a Malgus team is really powerful.
Sure.
So, and then him just being more durable because he's a fairly squishy character in the first place. But anyways, it's just one of those things. And let's see if I remember his stats correctly.
Wow, you just reminded me, actually. Do you remember the days in which people were running Darth Maul lead with Darth Revan because he gave 20% turn meter to all the Sith allies? So it just made your Darth Revan super quick, so it could just get fear out at the start. I literally just remembered that. Like, it got... Like, I think when Malgus came out, people discontinued that team in general, but I remember those days.
Well, it was a thing for 3s was to do with Darth Maul lead with Darth Revan, and because it counteracted the trooper counter to the team, and so it made them go somewhere else, and then you just made it more of a challenging thing to deal with. But the Sidious Ami is like, if all allies are Sith at the start of the battle, other allies gain max health equal to half of Sidious's potency until the first time he's defeated.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets the stacking speed with Demoralize that has a 0 cooldown if it's 5v5, which that's the only thing TW is. So
yeah.
But yeah, it has some use. It's not like net like 0, but it is it's not for the average bear. I mean, it's not something that anybody would really
no
towards.
Yeah.
But now that people have it for the raid, it's like, all right, if you're gonna go broke here, you might as well just finish the trifecta and call it a day, and slap the Ami on him.
Yeah.
But, I can't.
I mean, generally speaking, I'm done with doing investments, but for the raid teams. But the only thing that would actually make me want to like just Relic 9 everything is just to get away from the pain of doing it. It feels like teams are just they play so much better at the R9 level. If I could just take in a Queen Amidala full 5-man all R9.
Yeah.
The fact that I won't have to stress so much about the actual battle would be the reward more than the title and an extra 110 Mark 3 guild currency, or whatever.
Like, I'm not praying for like good RNG to make the QA
exactly.
team.
Like Gungans, I'd be able to go in on full auto. If I had like full Separatists and Sith at Relic 9, I'd be able to just go in and full
even
auto.
The B2 team on the R9 tier, you can just straight up full auto it. And it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, if I could just go in and max it out with the 25 R9s, like, all right, cool. But it's like, I just don't care enough.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. I'm not going to fucking blow 15 to 20 Relic 9s. It's like, it's more than I have right now.
Yeah. If I were looking at it from like I don't mind the investment side of things. Like, I wouldn't mind doing like B2 and IG to R9 because they are, tanks. Darth Maul is a pilot, so Sidious is kind of the only oddball out, and then Stap is what it is. But it's like the universally like, where else can I drop this character kind of thing that becomes the problem of like, I don't think I have another place to use the character. And so that's like, why would I invest beyond that level? Because it's just way too expensive. R9 is still a luxury on a lot of characters, and so I wouldn't bother with it in the long run.
Yeah. And of course, like folks are saying in the chat, there's a large element of there has to be a guild push as well. It's no point pushing for a high personal track reward if the rest of the guild isn't also pushing for like a max crate. It's different for us, obviously, because our guild hits max crate. So the only real reason to push for max personal reward is for just yourself. And I did the math and didn't think it was worth the
you're too much off on the investment. You have to do like a whole thing to R5. And there's, again, it's...
Well, I would need to take 2 teams up a tier. So it'd have to be like something from R5 to R7 and something from R7 to R8, or something from R9 to R8 to R9 and something from R5 to, and it's just like, no matter which way I slice it, that's more pain than I'm willing to go through.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like my alt does everything at the R7 tier or higher, and that gets me like 12.6, which is just like 500,000 points just beyond the minimum. And that's all I could really invest into, because I was like, I the only reason I did the separatist team to R8 was because they didn't nerf it with B2 lead, and then that's a pretty easy run to do without it, or with just that team setup.
Yeah,
so it's like,
because they still got the turn meter removal. That's not the turn meter removal. Sorry, the enrage remover.
Yeah. The enrage remover at the R8 with B2, you just can basically auto it to a degree. You have to do some selective targeting, and the only thing that screws up your entire run is if they get provoke out on Sidious or Maul, and if they get provoked, then it's like you're under the gun to loop their turns fast enough to drop it, because you don't have a cleanse. And then it's just like, that's the only way I've ever lost, is like Sidious gets provoked, and then
if they get that speed lock as well, because that's one of the stab things as well, isn't it? It's if they hit someone with pinned, they block all sort of turn meter gains. So like, they can't, like, Maul won't gain 100% turn meter when he kills someone on a basic, and Sidious won't gain 45% turn meter or whatever it is whenever somebody dies. That really sucks.
If they have target locked when they are hit with a stat basic, then they gain pinned. They can't gain bonus turn meter, and they have minus 25% speed.
Oh, see, you lose 25% speed as well. It's brutal. Like, if you get that, that's run ending.
Yeah, if you get pinned and provoked on Maul or Sidious, it's just like, well,
yep, that's just call it a day.
I'm starting over. But yeah, there are overall, even though I find the raid more frustrating than Speeder Bike, I enjoy this raid a little bit more, because it just requires me to think, and it's not a waste of my time. But there are, as we've talked about in the past, there are many mechanics that just, they exist for RNG's sake, and that's like ludicrous to me. I don't think they should, because I think players should be able to adopt a strategy that is successful and repeatable, not just, well, if you can get the stars to align, and then it'll be like one and done. It's like, cool, but that shouldn't be how the run is every time. Like, it's just incredibly frustrating to have that for the Lumi team. It's like, there's just like, oh my goodness, instead of the battalion commander going last every time they start, like being one speed slower and unable to gain the bonus turn, nope, they can get it to themselves, and they can cleanse your potency up right out the rip. And I feel like
that's the biggest bugbear with that team. It has to be, because that team there is like completely anemic in damage unless you've got heal over time and potency up. You will not actually kill anything unless you've got those two. Like, you just like you tickle them, and then they fully heal. So it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
So, and charge comes in and just always goes to the commander, always strips off right after you've used your AoE from Kit Fisto. It's just like,
it's one of those things that's just like, they could have made it less RNG. I don't think they're going to change anything about it now. And that's kind of where I'm getting to the point of like, I'm not going to pull hair about hitting it perfectly. So I might do a couple runs really well, and I'll just be like, all right, well, Lumi didn't get to the very end this time, so whatever. I'll take the 2.3 instead of 2.7 and call it a day, and then just just average out my title, because I'm not going to be that worried about, a few hundred Mark III over the course of the next 6 months. And then the only thing I wish CG would do with the next raid, and I pray that someone is going to listen to this at some point and take this to heart. With the next raid, I would like it to be on a 7-day cycle and just increase the rewards enough to counteract for the one raid we're going to miss each month. That's all I want in life. I just want one
So,
raid a week. I want it to be able for the guild to set it up so that the raid is the same time every week,
mhm.
and then we're done with it. Like this whole like being one day sooner is like it just progressively gets worse and worse because it's like if it lands in the middle of the week and I don't have the time, it just gets really annoying. I'm like, can we be like, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday or Saturday, or can we be like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or like let us as a guild collectively decide when we want to launch the raid, and then just let it be once a week. It doesn't move, and then just increase guild rewards by the amount necessary. Divide one raid's rewards by 4 and add that to the total, and call it a day because I am getting really tired of this like one day sooner.
Yeah,
Because
fair
it
enough.
just
I
it
mean,
just it just
I know a
hits
lot
at a
of
weird
other
time.
mobile games, they don't even do the whole, oh, you need to do tickets in order to unlock the raid. It's just, by the way, guys, every Thursday and Friday is this raid is active, and your guild just goes and hit it. Like, can't that would just make things a lot easier, but I imagine CG's probably did metrics, and they're like, now people spend more crystals when they have tickets that they need to get. So we want that, and we're going to tie it to something that people need to do so, they can use it for raid unlocks.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that would be like I there are things in the game where I think CG needs to start curbing things for time commitment,
Hmm.
and I think standardizing when things take place will help with that. Because it's like if you're in a guild that's more casual
Hmm.
and people are usually gone on the weekends, then doing the raid like Monday through Wednesday, where everyone's going to be around most consistently, then great, you set it up. But you don't have to worry about like the two raids that you have a month or in one month that are over a weekend and everyone's gone. Then you don't have officers and guild members stressing and freaking out about, well, I'm on vacation in bum f nowhere. Do I really need to drive for 2 hours to go do my raid runs
Yeah.
because the guild can't get the crate without me? It's like I feel like at a certain point, standardizing stuff to be on a schedule that's consistent would be nice because they've done it with everything else.
Yeah,
Every other
literally
thing
everything else is on
that
on like clockwork.
yeah, it's clockwork. And so it's like I don't understand why the raid's not like that. It's like honestly, it's like okay, I get where they're coming from. You don't want to have you're basing the raid out of a 30-day cycle instead of a 28-day cycle. But I'm like, but if you look at it everywhere else in the game, it's all based on a 28-day cycle. So it's like, why does it matter? Like,
Yeah.
what's the difference? So that would be nice at some point to have with the new next raid is to just be like, all right, let's make it so that the guilds can set it to the first raid is going to launch, and then it will always launch on that time. So the guild can be like, all right, we're going to launch the raid Thursday night. That gives you Friday, Saturday, and to Sunday night to do the raid, and then call it a day. Be done with it. I
Yeah.
think that would be beneficial in the long run for people because
I can
that's
see
one
the
of the things.
benefit for it. I guess I don't really care that much about it because I don't care, but I can see why that is useful to people. Because at least you can plan things out a little bit better. You're never caught in a situation where you just definitely can't hit the raid. So
Yeah, well, it depends on your guild too, because like there are just going to be guilds where the weekends are the free time for the majority of your players, and there'll be guilds where the weekdays are your free time. And so I feel
mhm.
like having that be consistent would benefit guilds in a nutshell.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that, brother. I feel that.
I would, yeah, that's one thing I'd like to see different long term. But outside of that,
Yeah, and I know we've spoken in the past about what we think that the next raid is going to be, and based on like Peridia and Thrawn's escape. At least that's what I want that to be from
I'm
the
a
dark side
hundred. I'm
perspective.
100% down with that. I just
Mm.
want it to be played from both sides. That's all I want.
Yeah.
When I'm playing light side characters, I want to have it me facing Thrawn's minions. When I'm playing as the dark side characters, I want to be facing Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra,
Hmm.
and whatever else at the time. I think it'd be fun to have like a split mechanic where it's like basically make it like you did for Darth Malak. One version is a light side version, the other version, dark side version, and then just have 2 or 3 teams that do each side.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it would be cool. And again, probably thinking somewhere around April, May next year, tying in with the potential Thrawn.
That should be fairly on track for the if they're going to get rid of the Naboo raid sooner or around 9 months. That would be on track for that. So
yeah,
that would make sense.
Should we see if we've had any Tribe Talks questions, good sir?
We've had one.
Amazing. It should be easy for us to answer this one then. Let's check it out.
The other one is me telling people to quit answering the questions.
You know, what I might do is I might just have a link to a Google form instead. Like I do for roster reviews. So people just fill out their questions like that, and then it doesn't just get stuck here in this thing. So
well, yeah, that's like the only thing with it. It's like everybody it's just a Discord knee-jerk reaction is to answer a question from somebody.
Yeah. So they see the question, they're like, blah, blah. This is the answer.
Point. The whole point is to do it on Tribe Talks. So
exactly. Okay. So Fully OP is asking, with Balin out of the way for a Dark Side Galactic Legend, I think he means Balin is not a Dark Side GL. Do you think they will announce Thrawn right after GL Ahsoka drops? We have many marquees for him after all. I mean, we've already kind of discussed this today. We're both of the opinion that yes, he's coming right afterwards.
I would be massively surprised if he is not announced within a month of Ahsoka's release, if not immediately on top of when they announced the next Conquest unit, because I'm thinking the next Conquest unit will be for his lifter. But yeah, it's going to be really tight because it's the only thing that really makes sense, because then they can require the marquees for Ahsoka as requirements for Thrawn, and then they can require then they can bring a couple out new marquees out to fill out some Imperial Remnant stuff and some Empire teams in general, and this, that, and the other thing. They could probably even do some Rebel stuff to fill out some more options there, because the Rebels just need more team members as well.
Of course they do. They've barely got any. They'll bring in a light side Callus, Agent Callus.
Dude, I would 100% fuck with that. I would love to have that in the game. I feel like it was such a missed opportunity from the Rebels TV show.
Yeah.
To have him there, but that's a minute point to the thing. But yeah, I believe it'll be quick. I think they're not going to waste time. They're just going to go right to it.
Yeah, so do I. And the only reason I think it's going to be quick is because I don't think I think that the next raid will be coming sooner than we expect. Well, not sooner than we expect, because I expect it to be roughly every 7 to 9 months cycle like they have done already. I think that for that to happen, they always bring out a featured faction for the raid, and I don't think it will be Spectre. Because they generally like to look at Jar Jar and look at Hutt Cartel when Hutt Cartel came out, and look at Leia when they came out. It all came out imminently around the raid, not 3 months previously, or even 4 months previously. That just seems a little bit weird.
There's almost too much time.
Exactly. Everything will be farmable
to farm it.
With the new marquee structure as well, people are getting these unlocks a lot quicker than normal. So it just doesn't line up. So it feels like, to me, it would make sense because they can still have the same theme. It can still be a Peridia raid, but it'll just be Focus Faction can be remnants.
But they could still be a part of it. There's nothing that stops them from having.
They just won't be the featured faction. That's all.
Yeah,
that's the only way I'm looking at it right now.
Or they could just do like they kind of with the Naboo raid. You just have multiple, air quotes, featured factions. It's just that you're gonna need Thrawn.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like Thrawn will be the Gungans, where it's basically, you go in full auto and you win.
which would be kind of silly, I guess, to a degree, because then who gets the raid army? I'm really hoping a GL team wouldn't need a raid army to max it. So,
but the featured faction always gets the army, because Hutt Cartel, it was Bausch, and then we had Scout Trooper. Oh, okay, no, it wasn't. It was Scout Trooper for the speeder bike raid. So yeah, it could be someone else if they bring out. Else. Yeah, it could. Well, if they bring out Padawan Sabine, and she's a Spectre and she gets a raid army. Who knows?
Maybe they just update the Scout army to work with Imperial Remnant for the new raid.
Yeah,
that would be funny.
Yeah, okay.
All you haters on this,
because I have that fucking army, and it was the worst fucking army ever. Make it Imperial Remnant. Keep Scout as a character that you can use for this new raid. Factions are going to be Imperial Remnant, Night Sisters, Spectre. But they'd need another faction at least, wouldn't they? Fuck, what could it be?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like that's the only reason why I have some reservations about Thrawn being the next one. Is I feel
mercenaries.
Like yeah, they could do mercenaries. They could do Imperial Remnant. They could do Spectre
and Night Sisters.
And Night Sisters.
That's 4 factions.
That's 4 factions. Heavily dark side, but that would be such a generous raid because like so many of those characters are going to be R7 requirements anyways.
Yeah,
it'd be a super generous raid if they were like double GL requirements, but then but between the 2 GLs you have like all the teams at R7 minimum anyways.
We'll just get more creep. It'll be like, oh, that R9 tier that was kind of optional for you to hit the top box. Now R9 you need it to hit max crate. Sorry guys.
Good. I'm planning on an R9 mercenary team and an R9 GL Ahsoka team.
Either way, you're set. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I already have the majority of an R9 Night Sister team, and then a majority of Thrawn will be R9 anyways. So
yeah. So Egaldus in the chat, yes, Ezra is the only 100% confirmed character, but we are assuming we're going to get Padawan Sabine and Hu Yang at the very least. Oh well, at least I am. I would imagine Hera would come as well.
Yeah, I would imagine those 3 because I mean they already kind of mentioned Sabine as a shoo-in in the Shin QA.
They mentioned she fights Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a direct call out to a character. So I feel like that's going to be guaranteed. But
Hu Yang to me, just like if you like, this is the Ahsoka from the Ahsoka show.
Yeah,
Hu Yang literally is her traveling buddy. I can't see.
It has been for quite a time, so it's like exactly. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for them not to include that.
Yeah. In my opinion, and then Hera's kind of like
Hera. The reason why I think Hera is because the fact they're going to the effort to say Spectre tag.
Yeah.
Agreed. So it's like if they're going to do Spectre, that's going to be the tag that ties everyone together. So who else is Spectre that's still around during the time of the Ahsoka show and is in the Ahsoka show? Let's be very clear about that part of it because everyone's like, oh, Zeb. And I'm like, yeah, but he's in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Not the Ahsoka show. So I was like, I feel like that limits you. Like there you got Chopper and Hera, and out of the 2, I don't think we need another Chopper.
Don't get me wrong. If they want to give Spectre tag to either Zeb or Chopper, I would be happy with that. Because I have them at Relic 9. I would be okay. Zeb in particular. I think he deserves the Spectre tag. And maybe a slight rework.
Well, I mean, that's the only downside with that's the only reason I don't think they'll get him is because the Spectre, the Phoenix sub unique mechanic that works with the OG Hera is such a critical part of their balance structure that the only way I could see it working is literally if they wrote a unique that goes, if the leader is Spectre and not Phoenix, then activate the following block of text. Because there is no way they would give him another unique that Hera could still then use. Because then all it would do is just pull Hera or pull him back to the Phoenix team. Because actually Zeb with the Hera team is fun for the pure amount of suppression that exists. But because I'm going to daze you, and then if you're dazed, I'm going to stun you, and I'm just going to keep doing this repeatedly.
It still throws me that they've reversed the animations on his basic and his special.
Yeah.
It's kind of why did they change that? I don't understand. I look at it and I'm like, hang on, that's his special animation. Why is that his basic?
I have no idea. But I mean, that's just kind of the thing is like, I would like to see I would like to see some stuff like that, but they were like, oh well, Kanan's gonna go live with GL Leia,
Ahsoka?
and then
Oh,
you
Leia.
can put
God no.
Zeb with your Phoenix team, and then everyone's like, yeah, but Kanan's unique is the whole reason why this Phoenix team can power through so many things.
Yeah.
Because you're getting that constant health recovery. You've got the
He's way
AoE
too
dispel.
important.
You've got the foresight that gives bonus turns. Like there's just way too much going on here that you can't separate that. It's like with the Zeb team, it's like you need like Zeb's got a very, very good unique to make the team incredibly durable.
He does.
But without the recovery, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's what would be really good is if Phoenix could take in 6 units. I mean, could you imagine if you could have,
oh my
Hera, Chopper, Zeb, Kanan, and Captain Rex and Sabine all on one team? Like,
goodness.
Yeah, that'd be so hard to kill.
Yeah.
And all of the mass assists coming out of C-Rex, yes, you'd stun lock the entire enemy team constantly. It'd be great.
Worth it.
Yeah. I'm here for it. Carson Teva launched New Republic fleet. Give the tag to Wedge too. Well, why not? I thought it was going to be the New Republic tag for Ahsoka, but they went with Spectre, which I still think is a stretch. But hey, who am I to judge?
Yeah, it is a bit of a stretch, but it's the closest thread they could pull on to create a new sub tag for the team, because it's the same thing that we did with Hut Cartel. And
basically,
I understand why they do it. They need to hedge the team in so that you cannot just bring in ultra powerful characters into the team and make it really hard for them to balance. So it makes sense.
And I guess if they did give it the New Republic tag, they'd have to think about extra New Republic characters, and then they would have to think about how do we balance this around GL Ahsoka. It probably limits their creativity too much by going New Republic instead of Spectre. So I get it.
Their design space gets limited, and so, which I understand. I understand where they're coming from. I get why they're doing it, and so it's fine. Like, no big deal. But I really do hope that they do build up a New Republic faction at some point, because it deserves to be out there, I think, to a degree now with how much we've gotten. I always had that, it made sense that they were going to build out in my head that New Republic made the most sense for Ahsoka. They went with Spectre instead, like we said. So, I mean, that's their way around it right now. They're not ready to commit to the New Republic tag because I think they're waiting for more characters to show up, and that's fine. We'll see what they drop and what they end up doing in the long run here. But, I mean, for right now, I'm just like, I really just want to get past the Ahsoka content. Like, I don't have a problem with it. It's a lot of characters I really enjoy, but it's just like, it's too much of a known for me, and so my brain just gets bored with like, what's coming. So it's like
you're bored because you know everything that's coming.
Oh, yeah, there's no surprises. There's no surprises. I did talk to Meathead the other day. It was actually like a month ago, and I was like, so you see Republic Commandos having its 20-year anniversary next spring, right? Like, we want to do Delta Squad? Like, please and thank you. Like, I know not everyone wants more clones, but I'm just like, it's like one of the teams I really do wish existed in the game, just because they're lore-wise, they're a lot of fun. They could mechanically have a lot of fun with the team. It could be fun for me, but there's just like, I get to the point with CG where I'm like, I would rather you guys spend more time bringing in more of like the 2000s era like content instead of trying to keep up with the Joneses in a way, because like, I don't mind the new content, but it's like the nostalgia for me is on the old stuff, and I don't mind it, but it's like, if you're doing the new content, then in my head, it's very easy to lay out, what's coming down the pike, what's going to be coming into the game. And my excitement level for that isn't as high as, something where I have a lot more of a nostalgic tie to. I was really excited with Queen Amidala.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with getting excited around Star Wars content that you enjoy and love. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
I would
That makes sense.
love to go back to the KOTOR 2 games. I would love to go to Republic Commando. I would love to go through the Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast series.
Hell yeah.
I would love to go through so much of this content where I'm just like,
Let's get Jan Ors and the Moldy Crow.
Get me Jedi Knight Kyle Katarn with the green lightsaber.
I want Proxy in the game.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. I would love to get General Coda, Proxy, Maris Brood, and Juno Eclipse. Give me those four characters. Give me those four characters, and then give me. I don't care if you give me Light Side Starkiller, or Galen whatever
Merrick.
Like make that the team that works together. Fine with me. Don't care. I don't care that Maris Brood isn't going to quite line up with that because she's not in the second game at all. I don't care. Give me the team. Proxy was like the best part of Force Unleashed 1.
And if they don't give Proxy the ability to like assimilate into random Jedi that he's got coding for and turn him into a Darth Maul or a Kenobi, then they have missed the mark. Like he is that assassin droid that can just be like, yeah, I'm General Kenobi now.
Well, I think he should be able to take on you should be able to take on a certain form with a long cooldown that you basically he gains a bonus turn at the start of the battle, and then you can assume the form based on what you're trying to attack.
Yeah.
So if you need a tank, you can pick a tanky Jedi that they have in the thing, or if you need an attacker, you can pick an attacker Jedi like Darth Maul. Or if you need a support, you can pick a support Jedi and then play it from there and have some fun with it to kind of offset what's happening there. But that would be so much fun. I would enjoy the crap out of that. That would be an amazing thing.
It'd be so funny if he was also actively trying to kill Starkiller.
Oh my god!
Because that's what his program. I'll get you next time, Master.
Yeah, that would be funny. I would enjoy that. But that's the thing is I feel like I know where CG's coming from, but I would like to spend some time, especially while we are in this content lull to a degree, right? Because the next real big Star Wars project to come out, of course, is Skeleton Crew. I don't think that's going to do much for the game because there's only a handful of characters that can even translate because they've been really hesitant to put kids in this game.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't imagine choosing much of the main cast. So there might be some stuff from there that does come out.
Yeah.
But
and honestly, I was saying it before, but I don't think that we are going to get any content from Acolyte. It's already been cancelled. So
based on the fact that Disney pulled a lot of their merchandise on it, tells me that they're trying to backpedal that one at least in the public mind.
Yeah. Because I was certain, this time next year we'll be getting Acolyte content, but the response just to me is no, they're trying to forget that was ever made. I think, so yeah, we'll have to have something come out next year. Well, we need something to come out after GL Thrawn. We're making a lot of assumptions.
Well, there's more than likely going to be a capital ship because
for sure.
At a certain junction here we're gonna need it.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of things that I'm just kind of hoping that they start pivoting to the legacy content for a little while, because that for me was when I was most excited and what probably spurred on my heaviest spending in the game was when
somebody send that clip to Meathead quick.
Yeah, when
say it a little bit slower, Karth. What spurred your heaviest spending in the game? Like where you spend most of your money?
When the Revan came. I was just like, I don't care the financial cost. Like, I'm having this character day one.
Take my money.
Exactly, and I'm fine with that. Like, everyone's gonna have their kryptonite for those. There's gonna be a character that someone's gonna do that with. Calvin was with the Gungans, right? He was really excited about that. Meathead's making memes of us right now. DMing them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good.
He had just made you a Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean?
Yeah.
I don't know what that
means. I'm sort of some sort of sandworm creature, apparently. I've got no idea the layout that he used behind it. It kind of reminded me of Jedi Outcast when you fight the sand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the missions, isn't it?
Yeah, but I can't.
That's Jedi Academy.
Yeah, but I can't. It doesn't quite look right. But my face takes up too much of the background, so I can't decipher what I'm exactly supposed to be.
You'll have to send me those pictures.
Oh, I guarantee you, he'll probably do it here in a minute.
We'll see. We'll see.
But that's the thing for me is I would like to enjoy some more of that nostalgia stuff, and have them build up something from that perspective. The KOTOR 2 characters would be fun. They're probably not going to be quite as lucrative as the KOTOR 1 characters were, but I mean, there's an easy legendary from that. You can do the main character, which is Mitra Surik. You can do her, but you can use the other characters to unlock her, and give us some options with that. Just give us the non-Jedi,
maybe
converted.
Make the Old Republic faction do something again, and by that I mean like Karth Onasi.
Yeah, make Karth Onasi great again.
Yeah, great for once.
Yeah, outside of like lights or the Hoth TB where he crushes it almost solo.
outside of the light side unlock of a Malak, because you have to use him.
You have to use it. Yeah. Isn't it for Revan though? The light side Revan.
Oh, is it?
No, it's our dark side Revan. Dark side Revan.
Malak dark side.
Yeah, dark side Revan. It's Malak is the you use Revan dark Revan for.
That's it.
But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things in that particular vein where I would be more interested for, especially the games, like those are what hold the greatest level of interest for me, or stuff from the games.
I mean, I'd love to see some content from the Dark Forces games, Jedi Knight. Jedi Knight Outcast and Academy.
We always get such a taste of them. Like, Dash comes to the game. You're like, oh, are we going to do more than that? And it's like, no, we did the one.
Not today.
We did the one. And I understand why they do it that way. But at the same time, I'm just looking at it like I would like to see more of it, because I think that's where a lot of my age group and even older players than I am, they get more interested in, because it's what they grew up on. The nostalgia is higher. Like I'm excited for Balin. Through the roof, but like Ahsoka and Thrawn, like they're not the same level. Like
I'll be honest, I'm way more excited about Balin than I am at GL, Ahsoka, or Thrawn. But that's just because from that series, he was the highlight as far as I'm concerned. He was the most enigmatic character on the screen. He was the one that was the most interesting on the screen. I didn't really care too much about the other plot lines. I was just like, I need more scenes with Balin Skull in it, because he seems interesting and mysterious. So give me more of that. Yeah.
So that's just kind of where I'm sitting at it right now. Is like I would prefer just some of that older content.
Yeah.
But
I get it.
We'll see what they do. We'll see what comes in after Thrawn. I kind of hope they take the next year and pivot back to some of that content, because that was when I was most excited for the game. There were some characters that were exciting, but I think those older things just hold way more nostalgic value for me. So
yeah, that's fair. All right then. Okay, I think we might as well wrap it up. I don't think there's been any more questions. Let me check. Negatory. All right. Well, it's been real. It's been fun. Karth, good to chat to you again, buddy. Availability, will you be around next week, or is it a busy week?
I honestly don't know. I think my next plan thing.
Oh, hang on. No, wait a minute. I might not be around next week.
I won't be here the week after. The first weekend of October, I won't be here.
That's fair. Okay. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to find everybody a place to raid into on both YouTube and Twitch.
Good old Calvin.
Good old Calvin. He's probably doing GAC, is he? That's amazing. Yes. Yeah, we'll send you over to Calvin to watch the Boy Council do some GAC. All right, sweet. Thank you for joining, everybody. Make sure that you do hit the like button on YouTube, and if you are just catching this, it will be live up on Spotify from tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Peace out, and big love, y'all. Big love.